Hey, I see YouTube. I see chat. How's chat doing tonight? How's Tom doing tonight?
Tom is doing great.
Good.
Tom is doing great.
Good. So the episode number below me is going to be wrong. Tom is going to be Rhett tonight. I don't even care.
Just the fact that we're live was the accomplishment for today.
I do not care. Welcome to Talking Heads, everyone. Yes, exactly. Welcome to Talking Heads, everyone. Episode 406. We're finally live with your once weekly live show for latest in beer and tech news. I'm Jeff.
And I'm Tom.
Welcome
or Rhett. I'll respond to either.
Yeah, you'll just be they, them tonight. That's cool.
Go for that.
Perfect. Speaking of beer, I'm skipping the intro because I want beer. We're going to start with a Chicha Brewing here in Salem, Oregon. I don't even know how to say that. There's a pronunciation below it. Guayaba. Chicha Brewing, Guayaba, the Guava Golden Ale.
Interesting.
4.8%. It looked interesting, so I picked it up today.
I'm just extra stout today.
Oh, there you go.
Let's do I don't know what podcast it was. The other day I was listening to a podcast. They talked about Guinness twice, and I was like, I have not had this in a while. So Guinness it is.
All right. You're saying Tom's mic is hot. I just took a whole bunch out of it, so let me know if that's better.
Yes. Better or worse? Is that how the optometrist does it? Better or worse?
Better or worse. Okay. I think we're better, but we're still pretty hot. Oh, I know what the problem is. Hold on. I can fix this.
We have the technology.
Yes.
But do we know how to use it?
Hold on.
Someone said better. Good.
There we go. Okay.
Better.
So OBS likes to do this really fun thing that when I'm capturing from an output device. So Tom right now is going to my mix board, which is how I listen to him in my head right here. I am capturing that output in OBS to loop it back into OBS as a source. However, OBS will take the input volume as whatever the output volume is. So if the output volume is set to 100% in Windows, it will blow the heck out of the input. So you have to set the output to like 20% and then turn up my headphones on the amp itself. It's a whole system.
Yeah. There's a reason Tom doesn't use OBS for guests right now.
Yeah,
I might eventually, but I gotta learn the skills of Jeff.
Yeah. Well, I think I am so tired of fighting PCs over here, specifically Windows. So the latest thing is every time I went to launch OBS, Windows now just blue screens and dies. I was using OBS earlier today, but this evening, with no changes whatsoever, I click OBS and my start bar will freeze, and then my program stop responding, and then my mouse will lock, and then it will blue screen. Then it will reboot, and I'll get back into Windows, and I'll launch OBS, and it does the same thing again. It takes about 10 or 15 seconds, and it just like slowly locks.
It is a strange problem. So someone said, and I'm going to have to correct them now, because they don't know this about me. This is going to get political and controversial.
Oh boy.
I moved to a Mac.
Yeah. What's really funny is you and I have been talking about this for a couple days now. It took you all of 3 days to all of a sudden get the same opinion of every other Mac user. Well, I switched to a Mac and it solved all my problems.
Yeah. So
3 days it took Tom.
There's a lot. I went with a Mac Studio, the Pro one, and I'm a Linux nerd. The last version of Windows I used was Windows 7, so circa 2009, 2008. I decided to go full-time Linux. I'd always used Linux since the 90s, but I mean, I said it is going to be my desktop and not just something I turn on as my desktop once in a while. And I did so many painful, kludgy things over the years. I think even last time, Jeff, I was explaining to you how I was getting audio from that, and he goes, Linux people do the damnedest things. You said something like that, like Linux people just do weird stuff. That's always how that works. But no, there was a situation came up where I needed to replace the computer I had, and it's going to be repurposed for something else. There's probably a couple more videos I'll do on it, but it's an A6000 with 48 gigs RAM NVIDIA card. It's a Threadripper. It's got a 1,000-watt power supply, 64 gigs of RAM, and it renders my videos really fast.
Yeah.
I mean, I think really fast. Mm-hmm. But the Mac, I paid all of $1,600 for a Mac Studio, buying it directly from Apple.
Yeah.
Renders almost, not quite, but almost double the speed, close to it.
Yeah.
So that is blowing me away that it's almost double the speed. And I was wrong about the wattage usage. It only uses about 85 watts when it's rendering. Now, it has the potential to use up to 140 because that's what the power supply can do.
Yeah.
But rendering videos only uses 80 watts. I don't think the other system idles below 80 watts. So when I haven't figured out how much it uses, but I know when I render on the other system, it turns into like a hairdryer. The fans turn up. There's heat blowing out of the back of it. There's a reason it's in the other room. It like separate from my studio when it renders. I built my studio, so my monitors are in here, and then it goes to a wall plate that then goes down and up because I use fully loaded vinyl to wrap the room I'm in to keep the sound floor low, and all the computers near, and I can still hear it a little bit when it gets in full render. So the Mac is utterly silent. There's no noise at all. Yep. I could move it in here. I just, because all the wires are there, it's in the other room. But yeah, I rendered, and I'm like, yeah, it's 80 watts and twice as fast. So
yeah.
Yep. I'm not saying it's perfect. I see people that says it's not without its problems. Right. Yeah, it's not perfect, but it uses Z Shell. I use Z Shell, so my scripts and things work. I use DaVinci Resolve to edit. That's optimized for the Apple environment. It's optimized for CUDA cores as well. But yeah, there's only one thing that I found at all that it seems to be maybe the slightest bit slower at is real time. One of the real time effects is it's called smooth cut, and it's kind of neat because what smooth cut does, instead of doing a jump cut, it will use, they threw the word AI, it's machine learning to fill in the pixels that are missing between your head being over here to head being over here. It does a good job. That seemed to render ever so slightly faster, but that video card right now used on eBay is $5,000. So, and the Mac by itself complete is $1,600. So whatever, it works fine. It just, it feels like it pauses a little bit when it renders that in real time. Renders it fine rendering out, but there's my entire complaint I have of using the Mac for an entire video editing session.
So I'm a longtime Mac user. Going back 2002, I think I got my first Mac, and I've had Macs in some capacity ever since then. I used Mac Pros professionally for a number of years because they make great virtualization host environments. If you need to service or support multiple operating systems, they had the slickest workstation VM setup through VMware Fusion that you could ever get on any system. And so I could run virtualized OS X, Linux, Windows, any version of Windows, any version of server. I could sandbox environments. I could do DevOps testing, all from my little workstation. And it was fantastic. I recently bought a MacBook Air, one of the new M4 MacBook Airs.
Those are nice.
Yes, I absolutely love it. Took that to Taipei with me. Did my first bit of video editing on a Mac in 15 years, probably, in Taipei, and went, I'm sold. I think I need to just convert my workstation at home over to a Mac. I'm already on DaVinci Resolve, so I'm already that far. I now use Affinity Photo 2 for my photo editor. I use Dark Audacity, which is fully open source for audio editing. So I'm already like fully
most of the way there.
I could just go, right? But I'm like, no, there's a couple of things specifically with like the podcast and video capture that I still need to utilize Windows for. I have a DeckLink Quad 4K capture card that I use for all my camera inputs, and that's a PCI Express X4 card. Audio capture is a little weird. I was saying at the very beginning of this, Mac doesn't have a built-in system or a built-in way to capture output audio, and so I would need to change the way that I do guest audio on here. There are plugins, there's things that you can do, so I'd need to work around that. But yeah, today, brand new desktop. I just built this desktop 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, we remember all the problems you had 2 weeks ago.
Right, I had a whole bunch of problems.
I figured by now you'd solved them all.
And so I tore that old machine down, and I said, the only thing I'm taking out of that machine is my capture card. And I'm doing a brand new Windows install. I am rebuilding my stuff from scratch. I am doing everything brand new. I'm not taking any installers. I'm not taking any hardware with me. It's been working great for 2 weeks. And then with a couple of blue screens, I hit a couple of blue screens, but this is brand new hardware. It's a Ryzen 9950X3D. It's DDR5 memory that's not even expoed. It's running at 3600 megahertz. It's a brand new NVMe drive. It's a brand new X870 Extreme ROG motherboard. It's like literally like $3,000 worth of parts. I'm 2 weeks in and it can't even open OBS anymore.
You know, the way I do mine, so I can't solve the capture problems with Mac. My capture system is a dedicated Windows box. The only Windows box I maintain, well, no, I don't maintain anymore. My happiest time was just a few days ago when it let me know there'd be no more updates for Windows 10. And I'm like, oh no, you're not going to break randomly on me and try and shove Copilot down my throat. What shall I do? Right. I'm so thrilled that it doesn't have updates anymore. It doesn't need to go online. I don't surf the web or anything with it. Anyways, it has, you have the DeckLink, I have the Blackmagic 4-port card.
Yeah.
But the Blackmagic card, and maybe the DeckLink does this, the Blackmagic card loves cameras, hates video input from systems.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have fixed that. I have a hardware hack for that. I have an HDMI splitter that I have a dummy 4K dongle plugged into. So I'm ignoring the EDID monitor, hey, give me this resolution from the capture card. And I'm instead using a dummy HDMI dongle to feed the PCs that I'm plugging into that. I'm a 4K thing that can take up to 120 hertz. And so then I can tell the PC, please output this resolution and this refresh rate, and the capture card just grabs it. And it's great.
What happens instead, and I've tried that, I have one of those splitters that lets you copy the EDID. It works, blinks, works, blinks, works. And I haven't figured that part out yet. So there's also an Elgato capture card inside there. That doesn't do that.
Yeah.
The Elgato works.
Yeah.
So that is my solution. But yeah, I will keep indefinitely right now my Windows PC with those two cards in there because they just solve the problem for things for me.
Yeah.
The Mac does, I mean, without any good, I started looking this and went down the rabbit hole a little bit when I first picked up the Mac going, how do people do capture on this? And I realized there's not really much out there for Thunderbolt or USB-C or anything that can do capture at high speed.
What you can do, you can get yourself a Thunderbolt PCI Express dock that's normally used for graphics cards. And you can put your PCI Express capture card into that. And so that's actually been my long-term possible solution to this whole thing, simply so I can use that good quality DeckLink card, because there are actually Mac drivers for that, because you can put it into a Mac Pro desktop and use it.
And so it'll work with the Mac silicone, the M1 silicone?
Yes, it
M-series.
I believe it does. I haven't verified that. But people are saying, yeah, you can get M4 minis on the cheap. Yes, I know. I have one in a fancy little enclosure that also has an extra M.2 slot on it. So I've got a 1 terabyte drive in the back of my Mac Mini here with the cutest little 5-inch display.
That's cool.
And and built-in card reader, and you still have access to your USB-C ports and everything else. So I think next week I'm going to be on this because I am so beyond
Now, which
tired.
Mac Mini is that? M4? Or?
That's the M4. Yeah.
Is it the base model or is it the?
This one's the base model.
Okay.
But I think I'm going to convert. I'm just going to move my video editing over there because I did, like I said, all my video editing from my M4 MacBook Air, which is the exact same specs as this.
Yeah.
If I convert and if I'm happy with it, I think I might go out and either buy one of the higher end Mac Mini M4s with the 10 gig Ethernet and more memory, or jump to the Studio.
So it took a lot of research, and I thought about this might be part of a video I do because this was harder than it should have been. The reason, even if you buy, which seems like the same thing, like an M4 Max chip and an M4 Max in a Studio, they're not the same because the Studio won't thermal throttle, but the Mini and the laptop will.
Right.
There was one video editor guy who really did a good job of explaining where the challenges come in, and thermal throttling was a lot of it because he says, oh yeah, everybody's benchmark tells you may as well go with the laptop or may as well go with the Mac Mini. He goes, but once you start working on long-term, he showed what his long-term prognosis was. And he's like, yeah, they're great. And then the thermal throttle kicks in, and now the project took forever. It's just there's more breathability in the Mac Studio, but the price difference isn't there. By the time you go for the 10 gig and you go for the Max, I paid $1,600 for that. And there's more, for whatever reason, it comes out cheaper to have more memory in a Mac Studio than it does to have memory in a Mac Mini.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if you jump up to the 24 gigs on the Mac Mini or even the 32, and you need the 10 gig and you get the 10 core, the M4, you're already up to like $1,300, $1,400. Pay the extra $200, you get 32 gigs of unified in the Studio.
36 gigs in the Studio.
Or 36, exactly. Yeah.
You get 4 more gigs, and it's the price difference, and it has 10 gig, and you have more Thunderbolt 5 ports. So you have more Thunderbolt ports as well. So you got more connectivity, less dongles. It's because by the time you buy the dongles, you're back up in price. So, and more display outputs. The Mac Studio will support 5. The Mac Mini, I think, supports 4 or 3. I can't remember. I only have 3, so it would have worked. But it's the nuances of an overlap that they have between them was interesting. Oh, let's see. Oh yeah, and the M5. The M5's released now, and that's interesting as well.
Yeah.
By the way, I bought the refurbished one. That's how I got it, because the normal price for what I bought would have been $19.99 or whatever it was, and it was $15.99. It was $300 something off because I bought the Mac refurbished. Still comes with the same warranty and everything else.
Oh yeah, no, I bought refurbished all the flipping time when I buy Macs, certified refurbished. Let's see what they got right now. Let's go Mac. I'm just curious. And I wanted to test to make sure my browser capture was going to work. So Mac Studio.
How do you do browser capture?
Inside of OBS, you can capture just an individual window. And so that's what I've done. So even if I move this window around, it's only going to capture this window in this precise framing. So
got it.
M4 Max, 14 core, 32 core GPU. This is what you've got right here.
Yep.
Also you get 512 storage instead of the 256 at the base.
And
model.
I'm on a NAS, so the storage is not relevant to me.
And the 36 gigs right there. Yeah, exactly. And that's why I want the 10 gig is everything that I do is directly off the NAS. I don't edit on the Mac at all. 10 gig Ethernet. I think I'm sold.
Yeah. It's just, and how butter smooth it is. Like I was thinking I was running into some problems with my NAS because my NAS is from 2018. So I was like, it's got 10 gig, and it's got a bunch of SSDs. Yeah. But I did some tests. I'm like, it seems fast enough, but I get stutters once in a while. The stutters are all gone. I even opened up all the old projects that I had because I imported my old projects. I'm like, they're not stuttering at all anymore because there was an initial stutter, but after you ran it for a minute, it wouldn't stutter. And I'm like, oh, it's just it's just catching up or something with the NAS, cache hit, ZFS, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Putting the whole project in RAM. Nope. Doesn't do it at all once I switch to Mac. It just never stutters.
That's interesting because I've been fighting that same issue for a while. And I always assumed it was like, oh yeah, just little network congestion or whatever else.
Yep. So in Linux, when I first grab a new file, so I build all my narratives and I grab a file and I drag it to the timeline. If I get to the timeline and immediately hit play, you hear this crackle noise in the audio, and then the frame rate drops to about 20 frames a second. And then I stop because then my voice catches up with me, and I go back, start it over and play again, and plays fine the second time.
Yeah.
And I just, like I said, network congestion, caching files, et cetera, et cetera. I just assumed those were the issues. I cannot reproduce that problem on the Mac. And I hooked up the old PC, and I can still reproduce the problem on the same video file.
All right, then.
So I'm like, what am I missing? Why is it faster? I did the test. iPerf is on either one of these 10 gig connection to the NAS. They're talking fine. I got no drop packets, no retries, the same network interfaces. They're connected to the same switch. Like this, I can't find the problem.
All right. Yeah, I think it's time for me to just do it.
I hate that this works better than my Linux. I still have my framework desktop, so I still have some Linux cred. It's my framework not framework desktop, framework laptop.
Yeah.
I'm still Linux nerd through and through, but for the editing setup, honestly, it helps me produce content faster. And I have to wrestle with the fact that nobody really cares how I produce the content. They care that I produce the content.
Right. Yeah. I've also long held that I'm not a particular OS guy. I'm a tools guy. I use the best tool for the job, and sometimes it's Mac, sometimes it's Linux, sometimes it's Windows. And I have to provide solution to my clients, and obviously I primarily support Windows from the business front for things. But my personal feelings on things is I'm kind of a privacy and open source guy, and those are very related. I care about the security of things, I care about the privacy of things, and I care about the openness of the tools I use. And I have felt forever, and Windows has only gone down. Windows is less an operating system, but more an upsell platform. It's an operating system as a service right now.
Yeah. It just wants to, like, I have a gaming laptop that runs Windows, and the experience is not good. It's like wanting me to buy this or buy that. Look, we're getting Copilot. Great.
Right. Yep.
We don't need these things. I don't want I just wanted to play my game, and I wouldn't play it on Windows if it wasn't for the fact that if I want to play some online games, I just need the stupid anti-cheat thing.
Yeah. And
B, some games don't work in Linux. A lot of them do now. That is, changing rapidly now, which is great. I'm happy to see many of them work in Linux.
Yep. We do have a couple super chats to get to. Vince from Circuit Rewind sends over $20. Thank you so much.
Awesome.
Error something something something. Everyone already made the joke for me in chat, but here, have another beer or two. Thank you so much. Yeah. Just happens that the day that Azure goes down is also the day that my PC just decides to completely lock up and not respond anymore. Brand new PC. The real fun thing is I am streaming this all off of my GPD WinMax 2. So there's Tom in mirror mode.
Nice.
So but I hooked up my I've got a USB capture device to get my camera, which was another salty point because you were on the show 2 weeks ago and people went, "Oh, Tom looks so much better than you." I put my full frame back on, so just for you. I will not be shown up. I will not be shown up on my own podcast.
I know.
But I've got Ethernet going in here. I've got the HDMI out to my ultra wide, so I've got.
Look at that beautiful bokeh we get if we do these close-ups. I mean,
yeah.
That's what I love about a nice lens and a short field of depth.
Unfortunately, I don't have the autofocus lens on here, so I've got a. I can dial in. By the way, new shot glasses coming to the store.
Oh, I like those.
Long. Yeah,
very nice.
Nice and heavy too. But in case of DNS, I don't know why anyone would need these. But if DNS has caused you issues and you think you might need to take a little edge off, in case of DNS, shot glasses coming to the craftcomputing.store probably sometime next week. Let's see. Another super chat. Zeus sends over $5. Thank you very much, Zeus. As someone who uses an M1 Mac Studio as my local streaming video box, Blackmagic Decklink monitor, Thunderbolt 3 running OBS 24/7, it's amazingly stable. That's all I needed to know.
Yeah.
Done.
Done.
Yep. And another super chat rolls in. Another one from Zeus. Another $10. Thank you so much, my friend. Will $10 get you talking about hypervisors? About to choose XCP-NG because all else equal, their docks are better and LinStore is more efficient while getting high availability. Tom, take it away.
Take it away. I'm with you on this. If you've looked at how LinStore does DRDB, high availability, replication, that has been in a Linux kernel for 15, 20 years. So it is a well-documented, well-vetted, solid setup for doing that. That's why XCP-NG chose it. The challenge people have with XCP-NG is they're overly cautious with everything they do. But the reason why is they're such a popular enterprise choice because they were forked from the world of Citrix, which had a huge foothold in the enterprise. When Citrix in 2017 decided they would do a point release upgrade of Zen Server that took away people's features. And when people said, wait a minute, I did a point release upgrade and suddenly I have less features, which of course turned people going, how would I get these features back? And Citrix goes, I have a licensed solution for you to how to get all those features back that you said yes to the update for. And our terms and conditions allow us to do this, which led to the fork that is now XCP-NG, Vates, and Zen. But we use it a lot commercially, but it's fully open source for those of you that would just want to bang on it and try it at home. I've got an entire course on how to get started with it, but definitely it's my preferred hypervisor. The built-in backups are really nice. They're extremely smooth and integrated. It's not a separate product. It's not like how Proxmox Backup Server has a separate thing you load. Not that there's anything wrong with that. They've just done it as an integrated solution. I still would say Proxmox wins for people who want to do the most basic, I just want to stand up something really quick and have an interface on it. It is certainly more steps to get Zen servers set up, but it also is more scalable for large scale infrastructure builds, which of course Homelab people go, well, that's why I'm using Proxmox. I'm like, yeah, but it's also why I'm using Zen because, you know, I've got pictures where it's funny because people try to tell me it's not used commercially. And I'm like, the video I did about the servers I'm standing next to, I said, that's $500,000 with the servers I'm standing next to you.
Yeah.
Do you think that's a Homelab build? I mean,
yeah.
Just ask it. It's like, it's got full, 25 gig interconnects and everything else. And it's connected to a series of Arista switches and all in high availability with LACP. And we've got MC lag. Yeah.
I love the stigma of Proxmox is no one uses it commercially, but every time you log into Proxmox, it says your commercial license is not valid because you're using it in a home lab. The only reason you get that message is because their primary market is commercial markets to which they sell support for commercial markets.
Yeah. And I can tell you both, not just Proxmox and not just XCP-NG, both I have now interacted with Fortune 1000 companies. Mm-hmm. So one of them is in a Fortune 500 too. So, but another one's in a Fortune 1000. I've interacted with two companies and limited amounts of consulting engagements where they were running these things actively.
Yes.
And it's part of their solution stack that runs the products you've heard of and used and interacted with in some way.
Yep.
Maybe even some cars you drive.
After the ESXi fiasco of the last couple of years, I famously said a couple of times, I made a living ripping Cisco out of places for forever. And I know you did the same thing. You know, you'd walk in and they'd go, oh, we're just having so many problems. And you're like, buy 10 grand in Ubiquiti gear and never pay a license again. That was literally 60% of what I did was just replacing Cisco with Unify. Yeah. But same thing is now applying to VMware as people are needing to move off of VMware. You know, we've got these captive, aggressive licensures that are constantly changing. They're like, I'm done. I just need to run my VMs. And it's like, well, do I have a solution for you?
Yeah. Now, Support is the big differentiator. Someone says, I thought Proxmox support was only in EU. Oh, if it was only that simple with them. The people who run Proxmox, I believe they're brothers, but that's only speculation. There's not much information you can get about those folks there. Mm-hmm. They are mysterious in terms of the fact that they choose not to be public facing in any way. Maybe that's smart on their part, but interesting for a company that's trying to be a company, or maybe they're not. I don't know. I say that because they're not making social media posts. They have a very simple support system that doesn't give you much options. Like, you can email us and you can buy support packages. Mm-hmm. They're not like SLA agreements that are very in depth versus Vates and XCP-NG. Every single month, the CEO of Vates does a live stream on YouTube, not to mention all their social posts and engagements, not to mention his own personal blog where he talks about the fundamentals of open source and his thoughts on a lot of things, which make it kind of interesting because you can learn a lot about Mr. Lambert there. He's a very public-facing person. He's directly active himself in the forums. And for XCP-NG, they have an entire structured reseller program. So not only can you buy it from them, but you can also buy through resellers and partners. So they have a whole enablement platform and ecosystem they built around this to provide support. So it's kind of an interesting dynamic there. The support is, I would say, far better for XCP-NG for the enterprise level support. They even have 2-hour and SLA times, the type of things that corporate companies want. And like I said, they don't do this because it's just in the Homelab. They're doing this because, as I said, Fortune 1000 companies are using this, and that's why they use it, is because they want to be able to have and expect to have those type of agreements.
So Zeus chimes in and says, so now that Tom is on your Streamcraft, when are we getting a Craft Computing XCP-NG cluster video? Out of me? This is no offense to XCP-NG, but probably never.
Proxmox ain't broke, don't fix it.
Proxmox ain't broke. Proxmox works for me. For the same reason you're probably not going to get many Proxmox cluster videos out of Tom, is we know our solutions. They work for us. They work quite well. And I know Proxmox 1,000 times better than I know XCP-NG. Yeah. I could install a VM on XCP-NG. I can't cluster it. I don't even know the first thing about Linstore. And like, I wouldn't know how to approach that. And it would take me literally a month to probably sit down and learn it.
Yeah. And there's not much. And this is the thing I tell a lot of people when they ask me about, hey, Tom, why don't you try this or why don't you try that? And sometimes it's like the solution I have works and the solution you're suggesting I try has no compelling features, especially for a majority of use cases, that make it better. It's a competing product, but it's not a killer product.
Right.
I will say it's cool that Proxmox has Ceph integration. Mm-hmm. That is a step above because there is not native Ceph integration in XCP-NG. So if you are, like our friends over at 45 Drives, a big Ceph, specialist, if you will. Yeah. I think Proxmox support that they do makes a whole lot of sense for them. But I don't know. I mean, are you even using Ceph with yours right now, or?
I'm not. I'm still pretty much ZFS. I've done a number. I actually did a video on building a basic Ceph cluster. I did a 5-node Ceph cluster in Proxmox on one of Supermicro's microclouds a couple of months ago. And incredibly fun, incredibly powerful system. You and I both saw the demo that Mitch gave at 45 Drives at the Creator Summit, where they're literally just like yanking cables out of a rack and whatnot. I built the same thing in a 5-node cluster with Epic 16-core. It's the Epic 4005 series 16-core boxes. I fired up, I think, 5 VMs on each of the 5 boxes, and then I just yanked a node in production, and it went, okay, cool, and it fired them up on the other 4 remaining nodes, and I think I lost like 6 packets on a ping. Like, it was nuts how quick it responded. And the thing is, I don't have anything that's like that mission critical.
Well, me either. I don't even have an HA cluster for myself.
No, and neither do I. And in fact, I do have 2 Proxmox servers that I'm running right now, and I do have 2 NASs that I'm running right now. I'm actually next week planning on doing a full migration to a single Proxmox server with my TrueNAS server virtualized in that. I'm going to take 16U worth of server and condense them into 4U.
Yeah, I thought about moving my daily usage stuff just into a mini PC that runs XCP-ng because it would
Yeah.
save me some wattage. And I'm like, I need it for when I'm doing labs and demos, but when I'm not doing labs and demos, I can just power all this stuff off.
Right.
It's crazy how fast these mini PCs are. I've put out most everything into one VM that runs Docker. That's almost all my stuff. Like I did a video on it because I'm like, people are always like, run a Kubernetes cluster. I'm like, but why? Like Jellyfin runs on my NAS. There's my critical use case app that when I'm not using this, but then all the other little things I run, which I've got just a list of those little software tools that I run and everything else, my fresh RSS feed and things like that. That just is a single Docker VM. So it's one VM, loaded Docker, load all the containers I want on it, and that way it's one thing to back up. I just back up the entirety of that VM, which also means I can restore that VM very quickly to another system and have all my things I need back.
Yeah.
I did say someone didn't like the name XCP-ng. I thought it was some Chinese software. I don't know what XCP-ng does that. I don't know. They're French. It doesn't sound Chinese to me. That's been the name for a long time. They came out in 2017 with that name. So I don't know.
Yeah. I'm trying to look for the system that I legit almost bought not long ago. So Supermicro makes a number of microclouds, microcloud boxes. They're 3U boxes. They're multi-node boxes. They're anywhere between 10 and 12 nodes in a 3U system. I was looking at one specifically so I could run a high availability cluster with Ceph, with Proxmox, and run it in production here at my house, but also not need 1,500 watts to do it. Supermicro made a microcloud tail end of like 2017, 2018. That was the Xeon D1541, which is a late generation Broadwell. It was essentially an Atom processor that they had souped up to run at 45 watts, but it was 8 cores and 16 threads.
Ooh.
And its max TDP was 45 watts. Supermicro took 8 of those and put them into an 8-node cluster that you can deploy into a 3U rack. And it had dual SATA connections and 4 NVMe plus an X16 low profile that you could add like an encoder card to and things like that. And one came up on eBay not long ago for like $1,400 for 8 nodes. And I went, there's no reason I couldn't run like 4 nodes as my production box that would take 200 watts.
Yeah.
To run. And then I'd have another 4 nodes that I could play with. That could be an actual lab for me.
That's a tempting buy. That's pretty cool.
It's a really tempting buy. They still have boxes that are out there. There's this one here. $840. This is also a 3U. This is also a Broadwell, or this is this is Broadwell. It's a Xeon 1200 series V3. So unfortunately, this one's only 4-core 8-thread per box instead of the 8-core 16-thread. But you get 12 nodes for $840, and these are sub 75 watt nodes.
Huh. I have to look over here because I can't explain this. That is really blurry when I see it. But on my Zoom, it's fine on the YouTube.
Oh, that's funny.
I mean, like when I look at it, it's all blocky pixels.
Oh, interesting. I wonder if on Zoom on this one, because I fired this laptop up last second. I'm going to bring your picture over to me real quick because I'm going to check my Zoom settings. I want to make sure that HD video is enabled. HD. Now we're cooking. All right. So let me put you back over there. And now let me try to share my screen again. Let's see if this looks a little better for you.
Oddly, no.
Oddly, no. Okay.
But we look better.
Okay. So well, that's good. Well, that's good.
Yeah, like my quality stepped up.
So here's another one for $1,500. This is a V6 box. So this is going to be Coffee Lake. And it's another 12 node box. Each of these nodes has, is it 32 gigs or what's the nodes on here? Yeah, 192 gigs across the 12 nodes.
Wow.
So 16 gigs each. But yeah, crazy cool boxes that if you just wanted a lab system or a small little high availability cluster, a pair of like 2 terabyte SATA SSDs, and you put just like 3 of those together, that's a super inexpensive high availability cluster with very little power requirements.
Yeah, no, that's pretty cool. I'm in the chat over here. Someone says, French flag or red flag? It's actually white, blue, and red, I think. Am I correct about that? That's what the French flag looks like, right?
Yeah.
Someone says,
no, it's
I don't know why
stripe.
that's a red flag to some people.
Yeah.
There are 2 other colors.
Right, yeah.
Oh, man. Social media. Could you start a social media site with those? Sure. I assume they mean the servers.
So Minifig says 12 nodes, 75 watts a node. My calculator says that's 900 watts at full tilt. Right, but my 3 servers right now run at 650. And keep in mind, I don't have to run all 12 nodes.
Yeah, you power some of them off.
I could run 3 of those nodes for my HA cluster. That's my production cluster. And then the rest of them I could just fire up for a lab scenario. Hey, I need to fire up this box to test this thing. And you fire it up when you're using it and you power it down when you're not. But this whole solution takes 3U in your rack. My lab right now is 16U.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And as Vince says, they're not always going to be full tilt. In fact, they'll probably idle at between 20 and 30. So
it's a fun opportunity here.
Mm-hmm.
It's similar to the systems we got that I mentioned. It was the ones that they're the 4U boxes, but there's 4 nodes in each box.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember specs on those systems. I think it was 192 gigs per node.
Oh wow! Yeah,
that's what I said. It was $500,000 worth of hardware. It was just crazy. Yeah. It was like.
Yeah, I know, I think Unix Surplus, my friends over there, they had a couple of node servers come in. They had a 2U box that had 4 Ice Lake dual CPU nodes that you could get. Not a low power thing by any means. This was 4 blade servers with 2 Ice Lake CPUs each. But if you're looking for like highly dense compute, that was certainly an option.
Yeah.
I love that we started 20 minutes late and I still cracked my second beer at 7 o'clock on the dot.
Got timing to keep here.
I am so good at that. Michael wants to know what is beer number 2 because he heard my can pop. This one I have been looking for a while. It is a local brewery, or local-ish. It's down in Eugene, Oregon. This is Ninkasi Brewing. One of my favorite all-time beers is Ninkasi's Megalodon. It is a 10% triple IPA. It is a heavy beer, but it's about as West Coast hopped as you can possibly get. It is thick. It is resiny. It's very vegetal, but it's one of those, like, if you do not like IPAs, you will absolutely abhor this beer. I love IPAs, and that is absolutely speaking my language. They made a special version of it a couple of months ago. I saw someone had posted on like Instagram that they had this, and I haven't been able to find it. I found it today. The Citrus Megalodon. So this is the orange and pineapple and lemon and whatnot, but using the same base recipe as the Megalodon, and it's still 10%. So,
is it thick like dragon's milk?
Not quite that thick.
Okay.
I mean, think one of the heaviest IPAs you've ever had. Stouts have a different kind of weight to them.
Yeah. I don't think of IPs as heavy. Hoppy, but less heavy.
Right. Once you get above 8%, you start getting into. I don't necessarily call it.
I love Voodoo Ranger. That's one of my go-tos.
The Voodoo Ranger, specifically the Juice Force IPA, is one of my favorites.
Yes.
That is still a fairly light bodied, even though it's like 9%. It's bright and playful.
It's not bad. It's not too sweet.
Right.
Because sweet is, I just have a hard time drinking. Okay, that's.
Yeah, I mean it's
I
not.
I can see the viscosity.
Yeah, it's a thicker viscosity, but it's not like heavy stouts, 10-12% stouts, your Dragon's Milks, your Bourbon County barrel aged. Those are like chocolate cake.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're so good though.
I'm trying to think of what's like.
I mean, I'm drinking a Guinness stout, so I mean, I do like.
Which is a nitro, which is the lightest of stouts.
Yeah. I haven't had a Guinness in a while. It's good. I do have to finish it because I got to start on this. I brought the AWS East is Down size bottle.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah. Got my Code Rain glass here as well.
Oh, yeah. Nice glass.
Yeah.
I like that.
I love I'm a huge fan of the Matrix, I mean, obviously, but I love the Code Rain on this particular glass because of the bevel on it. So it's true to the movie where like the code will like warp at times and bend around things. I think it's just such a good look on this.
Can we just pretend the Matrix 4 didn't exist?
I didn't hate the Matrix 4. I didn't think it was particularly great.
I feel like it's the movie that they felt obligated to make because of the contract and someone threw money at the Wachowskis, but I don't feel like it was their best work.
I feel... Ooh, how's this for a strong opinion, okay? I'm going to wrap a couple opinions into one because it all tracks on the same line. I love Star Trek, and I know this is a weird start, but stick with me. I love Star Trek. I hate The Wrath of Khan. I think it is one of the worst theatrical cinematic movies of all time. It is one of those movies that exists in a time when storytelling was evolving in that medium. And The Wrath of Khan feels more 1965 than 1973. It is one of those ones that is more Dracula than Star Wars. And that should track for a lot of people. 1973? Yeah.
It was maybe before I was born?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, Wrath of Khan, Star Trek 2. Yeah, that was let me verify, but hold on. Sorry, 1982.
Okay.
So way later than I thought.
Yeah. I was saying, I feel like that one was later, only because I remember being really little and remembering it. So.
But my point carries more weight, though, because it feels...
now it's further out.
Right, now it's further out. Return of the Jedi came out the year after this. And it is such a better and more evolved movie when it comes to storytelling, cinematics, theatrics, acting, everything. It's...
Oh, come on. We just like hearing Kirk yell, Khan!
Right. Gosh. It's the difference between Mad Max and Mad Max Road Warrior.
Yeah, there's a very stark
Again, like Mad Max, if you just like read the book, fantastic story. If you watch the original Mad Max, it's awful. It's a terrible movie. It may be a good story, but it is a terrible movie.
You gotta go to Beyond Thunderdome.
Right. Fast forwarding a little bit. I love what Star Trek did with 2009. when they completely rebooted it, but they rebooted it in universe where they said, hey, it's an alternate timeline, something happened, there was a split, there was a fracture, the characters are different, but there's an explanation for why the characters are different, and they lived different lives, and now they can express their own individuality, and the actors are free to do what they want, and I loved that. But then Into Darkness, Star Trek II, for the modern era, went right back to Wrath of Khan with a character-swapped Kirk and Spock, where you have and will always be my friend, and Kirk makes the ultimate sacrifice, and I thought that was just awful.
Yeah.
Fast forwarding to Matrix 4, they rebooted the Matrix and flipped the roles of Trinity and Neo, and so now Trinity makes the ultimate sacrifice and gets like her moment, which is cool. And I don't think it was an awful story, but I don't think it was a great movie. I don't think it did a good job telling that story.
Right. I will still say, I'm a big fan of the Matrix in general, the whole series, the concept. I like the Animatrix and things like that. But one of the other crowning achievements of the Wachowskis was V for Vendetta. That one. Yes. Go back to that. Whenever I think of them, I think of that. That's all right. We've wandered around on that topic.
Elmo sends over $20. Thank you very much, Elmo. Donation for the new microcloud. Oh, God.
Yes. Now you're gonna have to buy it.
Now I have to get one.
Now you gotta get one. The fun has been started.
I want the Xeon D model, and I want that one specifically because it was 45 watt TDP on the CPUs. It's way, way lower wattage than you might expect. And it was still 8-core 16 thread. So if you have just like little background tasks or even a Plex server or something like that, if you run a Pi-hole, if you run this, if you run that, all the little services that we like to run on Homelab, it's fine if they're not running at 5 gigahertz. Like, I don't need them to. Give me just the most basic but multi-threaded CPU that you can, and let that run. And I still have enough multi-threading where I can run multiple VMs. I'm not over provisioning my server at all. And if I could run 3 or 4 of those with a couple of SSDs each and HA them, and my entire production server runs on 200 watts. Are you kidding me? Like,
yeah.
And they had a PCI Express low profile slot, so drop in a Tesla P4 from Nvidia. You've got all the encoding that you could ever want. The systems are just so cool. Oh, and the network cards are also mezzanine style cards, and they offer dual 10 gig options for them.
Yeah. I mean,
so you can still NAS the crap out of it.
A lot of 10 gig is so good for most people's needs. I see people, but it doesn't have 25, and I'm like, it doesn't need it.
You don't need 25. Windows chokes on 25.
Yeah, it's just I'm editing. I'm going to move it now because the Mac does this easier. Mm-hmm. I do 4K 30, but I'm ingesting 4K 60 because I can record at that and it doesn't have any detriment. So I might move my editing up to 4K 60 now, but that is 10 gig is still overkill for that.
Right.
I can do 8K and still have 10 gig and not saturate it. I think ProRes limits will break 10 gig at over 8K 60, I think, if you go full ProRes.
It depends. It depends
on the encoding.
It depends on the encoding. It depends on your ratio. It depends on because Canon, Sony, Blackmagic, they all use different ratios for their RAW to ProRes conversions. I shoot ProRes. I shoot ProRes LT420. I shoot 8-bit color. Why? Because YouTube doesn't care. And so why waste the extra color space that I'm never going to grade because I'm also red-green colorblind? I have to trust my histogram. I have to record in Rec 709. But I do look at my histogram. I make sure that I'm exposed properly, that my white balance is set.
But you're like me. You're doing it. You set the cameras up so you don't color grade in post.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do no color grading.
Here's the weird thing. I get offers to color grade in post, and I'm like, do you think that's what would make my YouTube videos better? It's like what I want to ask these people. Most I just delete the emails, but I'm just like,
yeah,
I will help you color grade your. I'm like, why?
Right. You could put all the work in the world that you wanted into this. We're still uploading to YouTube, which is 12 megabit HD.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. My raw video, I just looked it up because I mentioned this at my during my talk at 45 Drives, like my video workflow, how I shoot, and I mentioned I shoot ProRes, but that's because ProRes is a non-frame registered codec. It is 1 frame per frame. Versus MPEG, the reason it's so difficult to encode and decode is it has keyframes. And so typically it's a 1:4. So every 4th frame, you get a true frame. And then the AI people are going to love this, and the DLSS haters out there. The next 3 frames are interpolated based on the differences of that next frame.
Yep.
And so you have to go back to your keyframe and then calculate the changes between the next 3 to get your 4th frame. And then it does another keyframe, which is another master frame. ProRes doesn't do that. You go to a time spot and it goes, yep, that's the frame. ProRes LT420, 381 megabit.
Yeah.
I could stream this on gig and use 1/3 of my pipe.
Yeah, it's way different.
Yeah.
Like, it just isn't vain. I'm using right now, because this was easier to do, you can set a keyframe interval to 1 and the H.264 in OBS. So you still get plenty of res and plenty of keyframe, but you don't have the same amount of, what do you call that? You don't have the same amount of size. It's a little bit smaller.
Yeah. Zeus sends over another $20. Thank you very much, Zeus. Always appreciated. Buy it, the microcloud, and make a trying XCP-ng video so you can learn things about it before I have to learn those things myself.
Or you could watch my getting started with XCP-ng, where I walk you through the entirety of it.
Right. And that's the thing that I kind of love about doing videos like this is the world that I exist in and the things that I play with. Like, look, Tom, you and I are both part of the same ecosystem. We both do Homelab stuff. We both do professional stuff. But we also have our individual skill sets and the individual things that we are much more attuned to than others. For me, it's Proxmox. For you, it's XCP-ng, but we both speak TrueNAS. Yeah. I'm probably not going to go make an XCP-ng tutorial because I'm not the expert there. Similarly, I'm not going to go out and make firewall tutorials. I'm not an expert when it comes to firewalls. I know enough to get one running, but when I did that kind of stuff, I had a network guy and I said, here's the client, here's their requirements, go set them up a firewall. That was the end of my networking thing because that wasn't my expertise. So you're unlikely to get an XCP-ng tutorial out of me because Tom's already exists. Go watch Tom's. It's amazing.
Do you know, I want to talk about NAS for a minute because there's a lot of people, and me and you are on the TrueNAS camp, but there's a reason for that. Mm-hmm. And by the way, TrueNAS 2510 was pushed to release technically yesterday. I think they made the official announcement today, but that's typical of it. They let people who actually want to check the updates frequently and are just pressing is there a new version button repeatedly and F5 in it? Like, they let them have it, and then eventually they go, yeah, by the way, it's released. We did that yesterday.
Right.
But the reason for TrueNAS, there's a lot of people who have said, Tom, you're not trying insert name of a dozen other NAS pieces of software out there. And I did recently watch, because Wendell just published it today or yesterday, a view of one of the minis forums one, and they're using some weird Linux distro for the NAS.
Yeah.
And I keep coming back to TrueNAS because, like I mentioned, weird Linux distro with some proprietary things on top of it. It's one of those challenges. Like, there's not really another good open source NAS project out there that's as extensive and feature rich and just works as smoothly as TrueNAS. Like, there's people who are going to be angry when they read RDMA is behind a license. Lose your mind. Yeah. They're like, oh my God, they put it behind a license. I'm like, how many Homelab users really are using that? I mean, I don't know. I see people overly angry stuck on that little topic, but I'm like, the number of people that when I brought that up in one of the recent videos that are going to switch to another open source NAS software, I'm like, which one? Let me know. I'm curious because there's not much I found out there that's any good. I'm sorry. Unraid's not open source for one.
Yeah. Do you have a list? Because my list is TrueNAS and Unraid, and
Unraid's not open source. Right. And it also doesn't implement ZFS the same way. You do have, what's that other popular one? Someone will put it in the chat. It's like, it's popular for Raspberry Pis. It's the only reason I would ever use it. It's the only reason I even looked at it. Our friend Raid Owl did a video on it, but even he said, why is this thing so hard to use? It's a really, there's like Zynga NAS and a couple other weird ones that are forks from FreeNAS and kind of look like they are. They haven't really been updated much, but they just don't hold a candle to the features. They're not up to date. They're like one person maintaining the project is what it feels like. And they forked it from years ago and it solved a problem for them. But Open Media Vault, OMV.
Oh, OMV. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But also it's more confusing and not as feature rich.
Yeah.
So, it's just one of those things like people ask me why TrueNAS. I'm like, it's by far the most popular one out there. The runner up isn't playing the same game as them. Like they're not even the same category as far as base installs and things like that. But the 2510, I updated even with the beta. Most of the changes they're making in TrueNAS are causing some drama or maybe some instability around the virtualization right now. They've definitely had some hiccups in getting that right, but that also means I don't mind updating because it doesn't really seem to affect. I mean, they've added some other features. It's not the only thing they change, but the core of TrueNAS is extremely stable. Like if you use it for SMB shares or NFS shares, that is their core bread and butter. They move that part of the OS slowly and carefully because that is what people expect out of it. But the other stuff is kind of, of course, the controversial topic is, and I'm going to be doing a live stream about this soon, probably with one of the developers from TrueNAS. I confirm, I'll get the time confirmed for a Friday live stream. I just don't have it up yet.
Nice.
But we're going to talk about them removing Smart. Now, for those of you that actually work with the hardware like me and Jeff.
Spicy.
Like, yeah, I know. Smart's not that smart, despite its name, despite its moniker.
Yeah.
Turns out not great.
No.
It's not what you think it is.
No.
It is a database loosely maintained and not well by hardware companies that don't give up their data. So they kind of give us some data. And then there's people who put together the smart data to say, hey, on a Seagate, this model, this data coming out of there, we think means the drive temperature, and we think this one means this. People don't realize Seagate doesn't just hand you the roadmap for reasons I can't explain.
Yeah.
And by the way, we've come to a point where isn't there only two companies that make drives, Western Digital and Seagate, because every other company is owned by either Western Digital or Seagate now?
Yeah.
I think there's only two drives.
Does Toshiba still manufacture?
No, they got bought by Western Digital.
Okay,
too.
okay. I couldn't remember Toshiba, but I know HGST, Hitachi, they got bought by Western Digital.
Yep.
There was a couple others that got bought by Seagate. Yeah, no, there's literally two companies that make hard drives anymore.
Oh, and by the way, I see someone post this comment. LTT is trying to build something in space. No, they're not. First, LTT, Linus did invest. I'm friends with the people and know the people at HexOS.
Yep.
HexOS is not a fork, but we'll just say something that sits on top of TrueNAS, by the way. And they completely are working with TrueNAS. They didn't do this, like they didn't just grab the code and say, this is ours now, it's open source. No. They're working with Chris, the developers, to build an easier interface on top, which, one of my favorite features of HexOS, if you decide you don't like HexOS, and I think this is smart on their part, and you go, I don't want to pay a subscription, I don't want to do this whole thing that you guys got going on, TrueNAS is underneath it, and you can log into it.
Yep.
They don't remove it.
Yeah. Yeah. So, it's literally a shell.
It's a skin on top of TrueNAS.
Yeah.
For those of you that complain, I want TrueNAS to be easier. Okay, these people are they're just doing front end work. They're not really doing as much on the back end. They're doing some cool orchestration of it.
Yeah.
And, they're trying to put Tom out of business here who makes tutorials on how to do complicated things in TrueNAS. But you're like, I don't want to watch some video on this. I just want to press a button and make it go.
Tom, we should be spending more time on a beach anyway. I mean, honestly.
Probably. Yeah, what am I going to do? We'll just have to wait for that AI bubble to pop. Where does
Mm-hmm.
that leave us? What beach do we land on?
I mean, there's one an hour from my house, so
Yeah.
it's not warm. That's the problem.
But if the AI bubble pops, will I be able to get there without a subscription for my vehicle or something stupid?
That's a great question. And I've said a couple of times, like, man, if I built like OpenViro up to a point and someone just offered me like $3 or $4 million for it, you'd probably never see me again. I would probably put that into an account. I would move to Belize and I would sit on a beach for the rest of my life. Like, so if you want to get rid of me, you can crowdfund purchasing.
We can crowdfund getting rid of Jeff.
It's totally a thing you can do.
We will, if Jeff achieves enough money, Jeff will disappear.
I'm not even that expensive, all things considered.
Yeah. I mean, Nvidia can spare a few. They hit the 5 trillion mark.
Right.
They got a couple coins stuffed in that.
I'm a rounding error at that point.
You're a rounding error. Enough to make all of us retire. And I mean all of us, including all of you. I don't know the exact count of people on live stream right now, but don't worry. It's still enough.
Right.
For all of us.
Yeah.
I don't have to know. It's enough money.
Couple more super chats rolling in. Green Protagonist, yet again, $5. Thank you so much. Excited to see Jeff use the Tesla V100 pass-through, then use Tesla V100 vGPU profiles to accelerate those VMs so he can have GPUs for his GPUs. This is fun because this is such a cursed setup, and I came up with it first, but Green is totally on board because Green has more terrible ideas than I do. Which is saying something. So I have my DGX V100 box, which is a dual Cascade Lake system with 512 gigs of of RAM, and then it's also got 8 Tesla V100s. The Tesla V100 in the DGX is a really unique card because not only does it do AI tasks and it has 32 gigs of GDDR5 and it's faster than Turing, but without ray tracing, but it also supports video encode, which Nvidia started removing with Ampere data center cards. So the A100 still supports rasterization, but not video encode. And so if you want to use it for like a games host, you have to rely on CPU encode, which you can do, but it's not as fun. But also the V100 still supports vGPU, so you can split it up into multiple profiles or pass it directly through to a virtual machine and game on it directly. And so what I want to do with this 8 V100 system is start up 7 VMs and pass a V100 directly through to each VM. And then use vGPU splitting on the last V100 and give each VM one piece of a V100 for a second video card. And then you have the main V100, the pass-through V100, raster your games. And then you have the second V100 do the video encode for a remote stream, as well as lossless scaling frame generation. Right. I have no idea if it'll work. It's cursed as hell.
It's Rube Goldberg, man. I mean...
It really is. But I think it could work.
So Wendell talks about the forbidden router. Now you will have the forbidden video.
Oh, this is the forbidden game server.
The forbidden game server.
Yes.
Oh, that's fun.
Once the AI bubble pops, Craft Computing won't be able to afford a beach since his chat will bully him into buying all their cast-off hardware. This is also probably true. Because I'm not going to just sit on the beach forever. I've still got to tinker and crap, and I might as well turn on a camera. Oh, crap, I'm running the channel again, aren't I?
Somehow, some way. Yeah. Just turn it. Thing is, if you have enough money, you just turn into a constant live stream. It just follows you around.
Mm-hmm.
So, actually, fun story.
Oh, I'm a lifestyle blogger.
Well, do you remember the South Park creators years ago, maybe circa 2008 or 9, did a documentary called 6 Days to Air. It was how they did it.
Yeah.
Well, because they had the money to do so, do you know what they kept doing?
Huh.
So they found it so interesting to have a documentary crew follow them around. They never stopped paying them. They've been following them around for 16 years.
I mean,
but why that matters is they're doing another documentary about the whole restaurant thing they did. And someone's like, oh, you documented? They go, oh, we just never fired the documentary people. We had so much money. We're like, just keep following us around. This is fun. Document our life for us.
I mean, the fun part is Paramount just gave Trey and Matt $1.5 billion.
Yeah. That's what they're saying. We have so much money that we just do things, and we can just we can do that.
Like that was Trey and Matt with a $300 million budget. They have $1.5 billion now.
Yeah, it's insane. And they also talk about how the restaurant was an absolutely terrible investment. They're like, oh no, we're not doing this. We'll document how we did it because it's fun, but no one should do this. We spent way more money than any other people should ever spend. We also have it to spend. So we're not saying it's a good idea.
Yeah, they fully restored the restaurant. The restaurant is valued at like $1.2 million. They spent like $7 million rebuilding it or some shit.
It's crazy. It is really funny and crazy.
They're like, but it's really cool now, and we have a restaurant, so there you go.
I don't see it in the show notes. I sent you a link though, because it was recently about the Copilot for gaming thing.
Oh yeah. Let me read one more super chat. We got one more that just rolled in. Another from Elmo. You guys are really wanting me to buy a microcloud. I will say you're an eighth of the way there. We've done $122 in super chats so far. So keep them rolling in, and I'll probably do a microcloud.
By the end of this podcast, if someone donates enough money to Jeff before this is over, I mean, you guys got about an hour or so left. I mean, quite honestly,
yeah. If the money rolls in for a microcloud, I might just buy one here on the stream. So, I don't know what Yocto's up to right now. He's up in Vancouver. He's actually up at Cephlicon with
45 drives.
45 drives, yeah.
Yep.
And he's both selling me out and telling on me to Brett and Mitch, which I was a little irritated with. Because I announced to my Discord today that I'm going to be consolidating some of my servers, which means also consolidating some of my 45 drives hardware. I've got an AV15 and an HL15. And those are 4U boxes that only hold 15 drives each. Well, I have 24 drives that I need to hold, which I could hold in that 8U space, but I also have, down below this rack right here, a Supermicro 846 chassis, which holds 24 drives in a 4U space. And I have 3 banks of 8 drives that I need to run, and it needs to have ATX support. And I've also got an AMD Genoa motherboard and CPU ready to go. And I'm like, you know what? I'm probably going to pull the 45 drive hardware out of my rack for right now. And I'm going to run my 24 drives that I want to run, as well as my VM server on this older box right here. And Yocto goes, I'm going to tell Mitch you said that. I'm going to tell Mitch you're pulling his hardware out of your rack. Right. He's standing right next to me. I'm going to tell him. So I
see people doing their part. We got $30 more. Don't I see more super chats coming in?
There we go. Elmo, $20. Thank you. Here's 20 more to pay for the shipping of the new microcloud. Just click buy. I know it's in your cart. You son of a. Skull chimes in another $20. I'm doing my part. And Circuit Rewind, growing the micropit cloud fund.
Well, cheers. I see more came in.
Elmo with $100. Here's my part of the microcloud. I better get a VM named after me. I will name one of my microcloud instances Elmist.
Yes.
I think that has to happen now. Elmo VM1. Yes. That will absolutely be the name.
We gotta sell naming rights.
We gotta sell naming rights. Yes. You beat me to the punch. Yeah, we gotta sell naming rights.
There's a solution to funding these addictions we have.
Do you guys want to name a node? Send 250 right now, and you can name one of the nodes. 250, you get naming rights to a node. We got 8 nodes to sell. Let's go.
Just waiting for another super chat to roll. I'm looking over.
Well, I gotta find though. Like I said, I want to run a specific version of the microcloud. By the way, Elmo, you're really close to being able to name a node because you've sent, I think, 140 or 145 over so far. So, gosh, you're close.
$250. Someone says 250 what?
Yeah,
$250. So, not loonies, not pesos. We're looking at doll hairs here.
Yeah. Cold hard cash that I can spend.
Yes. I am curious, though, kind of on that. I have not seen it. So I updated my Windows 11 gaming system, make sure it had all the updates. Have any of you received the stupid Copilot gaming crap that they're trying to do? It's not showing up on my system. It's a limited rollout, and it's a terrible rollout. But I am kind of curious if anyone else has seen it. It seems to be limited rollouts right now.
Let me see if I can. Oh, there we go. Okay. Got to get the news.
Or maybe that's what broke Jeff's computer. He can't use OBS because Windows 11 Copilot is shoving.
I mean, there's a good chance of that. Yeah. Nody McNodeface says Yocto. I knew Yocto was listening. Yeah, so Microsoft builds on recall with gaming Copilot and fails basic privacy tests, as they did with their basic recall.
Yes. So if you don't know who Kevin Beaumont, a.k.a. Gossie the dog is, he's amazing and he's funny. And when Copilot first came out, he was key in pointing out all Microsoft's flaws. And Kevin Beaumont's not average. He used to work at Microsoft. He now just, shitposts about Microsoft. And in the best way. He was tagging at Microsoft when they released their first Copilot. I love this. He goes, hey, I really need to know who did, because he found all the ways to hack Copilot. And he, one of the things he did was, he tagged Microsoft. He says, I need to know the name of developers. I want to name all these exploits after the people who actually wrote this horrible code and everything else. I was just like, oh, he was just dunking on them. And they finally, he was key in why they pulled recall and some of that too. He was definitely among the most vocal voices in that community.
Yeah, no, that was a whole S-storm when it first dropped, because they were saving the pictures unencoded on your drive. Unencrypted,
and he's the one that dumped it because they said they were, and he's the guy that no, you're not. And
no, you're not. It's in the app data folder.
Yeah, he was pulling all the data out and reverse engineering it as soon as it came out. He was just ripping it apart. It was so fun following him because Microsoft was trying to argue with him, and he's just like winning the argument, going, "Watch me do it."
Yeah. So I have to stop you momentarily. Zeus sends over another $20 and says, naming a Proxmox node XCPNG would make me very happy and your viewers tism very mad.
100%.
100%. I'm
all for this.
I am so specific about names. You have no idea how nuts this is going to drive me. You have no idea what that is doing to the This is like a sleep paralysis demon clawing at my brainstem right now. The fact that I'm not going to have naming rights over my own nodes. I don't like it. But Elmo squares himself up to 250, becomes the first naming rights holder, and says Elmo VM1 has a nice ring to it.
Then you have all Elmo VMs, because you'll have to keep the naming scheme all the way down.
Yeah. So unfortunately, I don't see one of the D1541 nodes right now, but the V6 nodes I'm also interested in, because I think you can get those in 6-core 12 thread. There's also, so help me, follow me here. Okay. Supermicro has a microcloud that is in the same form factor as the 3U. It is a 2011 V0 socket, so x79 Sandy Bridge. But you can get an 8-core, 16-thread Sandy Bridge like a 2650 V1 or a 2649L. That is still 8-core, 16-thread, pretty much the same thing that you'd get out of a Broadwell Xeon D. You can get that 8-node system for like $600. Now, I said I would never go back to Sandy Bridge, but X79 kind of calls to a deep place in my heart, and maybe that's the way to go. If I cannot find the Xeon D, maybe we go X79.
I'm sure we can message someone at.
Oh, son of a. Hey, Tom, you want to read that one?
Which one? I'm going to abuse the naming rights. You know this, right? Yes.
Do you want to read the name and the value?
Oh, Zachary?
That is, we call him Yocto.
Okay.
You know Yocto.
Yep.
I know you've heard of Yocto.
Yeah. We had a group chat going.
Yeah, we had a group chat going. We talked maybe like building things.
Yeah.
That's Yocto. Yocto just sent over $500, so Yocto gets to name 2 nodes now.
Nice.
No,
I hope he names them whatever hurts you the most.
Yocto, you're
because it will amuse me.
I said 250. You're a penny short.
Ooh. I want to see it. Can you donate 1 penny? Because I just want.
I think it has to be $1, unless you go on some weird currency. Like you could donate like 3 yen and probably get it taken care of.
I mean,
Yocto is going to abuse the naming rights. You're damn right.
I'm okay with this.
Yeah,
because it's not my naming rights.
Gosh, yeah, no, we're into some levels now. Okay, now I need to find a box. Did I just find the box? Hold on. Yes, I did. I have a box. Does it come with rails?
Oh.
No rails. Okay, let me see if I can find this box with rails.
We just got $100.01 donation. Adding the penny for Yocto.
Adding the penny for Yocto. Elmo sent $1. Zeus says XCPNG_17 is now the name for your 3rd node. He squared himself up to the 250. Also adding the penny for Yocto. Terrapup also sends over $2 for Yocto.
So here's the next question. You can't do this in Proxmox, and you can. Here's why XCPNG wins. And if you guys throw enough money at Jeff, maybe he'll have to move to XCPNG at the same time. XCPNG lets you put emojis in the descriptions anywhere. When you're setting up VMs, I put emojis in mine, and people are driven nuts by this, but I think it's great. But you can use emojis in there. They don't care. It's not parsed in any way, so all the VMs can be named anything you want with emojis in it. I even have ASCII art in some of my VMs because why not? So donate enough money for him to buy it, and then we got to figure out the tier is to get Jeff to move to XCPNG and force him to learn it.
Yeah.
That's a higher tier, I'm sure.
Okay. So I can't find any of the Xeon Ds, but I did find this. This is the Supermicro 5037MR H8 TRF 8-node microcloud. It's got 2 power supplies. As you can see from this little unit right here, these are all X16 PCI Express slots. Each of these nodes has an X16, plus there's a 10 gig already on there in an SFP plus.
Nice.
Across the mezzanine on the top. So this will run encoding. This will run everything else. This is the X79 rig. This is the 2011-0 Sandy Bridge, Ivy Bridge.
And the price is $400. I mean, you've already got enough donations for that one.
$400 Free shipping. I can find Rails. Okay, so I think we've named 4 nodes now. So Zeus has 1, Elmo has 1, and Yocto has 2. So I have to run 4 nodes.
I thought we were selling VM rate naming rights, not node rates.
No, I said node. I did say node. So they're naming the server host.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair.
So this doesn't come with Rails, but I think it uses the same Rails as other microcloud servers. And so I should be able to find Rails pretty easy. If not, I know people at Supermicro. I can look up numbers and I can get Rails. Like,
yeah, I'm sure they're floating around eBay somewhere. Not hard to talk to people at Unix Surplus. They got a box somewhere with Rails in it.
They've got Rails.
They've got Rails.
Look up the X11 SSE-F. I will do that right now. That's the 1151. Unfortunately, those still max out at or no, those will do. Hold on. It's an 1151 socket. These don't have the PCI Express. I want that for the video encode. I want to put my P4s to work as well. I have 4 Tesla P4s that I would like to run and get true high availability, not just for the host nodes, but also for the VMs, including my Plex server, which is quite important in my household. And so being able to set up 4 nodes with 4 Tesla P4s all mirrored across each other. Also, these are only dual 1 gig. The other box came with a single 10 gig, which I'm already set up for.
10 gig is definitely where you want to be.
10 gig's the way to go. Yeah. So
bonding together a pair of ones.
That sucks.
That's not
it sucked then. It sucks even more now.
Yeah. I mean, the cabling's not as pretty. I want to see a bunch of nice SFP cables. You could pair that up with a nice SFP switch above it,
right,
and just make it look pretty.
Yeah. No, I've got a MikroTik, one of their 16 port 10 gigs in my rack already, and that's my main distribution server for my network. And so, lining up, 8 nodes, that only takes up half of that switch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A bunch of short SFP cables. It'll look nice. It'll be clean.
Yeah.
SFP's bulletproof.
So here's this box. Do you want to know the really cool thing about the other side of the box? They're 3.5-inch trays, which are SATA, and each node gets 2 trays dedicated to it.
That's nice.
So if you wanted to run like some mechanical hard drives in a Ceph configuration, you could totally do that. A couple of SATA SSDs. Pick up some 1.92 Samsung SATA SSDs or maybe some 3.84s and get yourself just like a crap ton of SSD storage in a full Ceph redundant cluster. Hell yeah.
Or push you over to XCP-NG and we do it all in Linbit.
Which you can find a fantastic tutorial for over on Lawrence Systems.
Oh, man. Good stuff.
I both love and loathe you all. I just want you all to know that.
That's part of the fun of it all.
It is the fun of it, yeah.
That's why we're here. Have a few laughs, have a few drinks, share a few beers.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about DNS outages.
By the way, if you like the Voodoo Ranger Juice Force,
go for that.
You need this.
All right.
This is Juice Force turned up to 11.
What are the rules on if that were to arrive in the mail?
I
think I'm on a state that can't do that.
I'm going to be very candid for a couple of minutes here. Okay? It is illegal to ship alcohol. I want everyone to know that.
In some states, I thought it was.
Unless you have a license to do so.
Oh,
it is illegal to ship alcohol. Everyone should know that. Now, that being said, if you happen to show up at a random UPS store with a box that's already taped closed, already weighed with a label on it, they're not going to ask any questions about that box. And if you were to do such a thing, what's the contents of your box? Craft sodas? My favorite is yeast samples in suspension.
Yeast samples in suspension. Go with that.
There you go. You shouldn't do this. You shouldn't do this.
All good ideas start with.
I will say there's a company devoted to making packaging called Whale Pods, which is a fantastic website that none of you should visit. That make individual carriers for purpose shipping items that are about this size. I'm just saying.
For no particular reason.
For no particular reason, they make boxes that are well insulated and packaged for things that look about like this. And if you were to, like, put a can of soda into one of these boxes, my recommendation would be to tape it closed, weigh it at home, and buy and print and affix a label at home. Because if you go to a store that specializes in shipping boxes and you say, please weigh this, and I need a label to go to X location, they'll say, what's inside of it? Now you're lying. And I wouldn't recommend that. For those who don't know, don't ever screw with the Postal Service. Don't ever screw with the Postal Service.
It's a federal offense.
It's a federal offense, and the Postmaster Generals write their own warrants with no judges required. As has been stated to me, if you have like a PO box or a UPS PO box, anything the Postal Service can deliver to, a Postmaster General can walk up to the box and say, open that. And they say, do you have a warrant? He goes, oh, hold on. Open that. Yeah, they don't mess around. But if you show up to a UPS or a FedEx or a USPS with a label already affixed in an already packaged and sealed and taped box, they're not going to ask those questions.
Nope.
And there you go.
And I use a UPS store. I will admit they don't ask questions because they're always so busy.
Yeah. Also, yes.
They also, whoever wrote that software should be flogged, because every time I have to get a package that was delivered to me, it is amazing the amount of time. And I watched it. I'm like, they press so many buttons just to get a package out. Shipping, they press twice as many buttons. Yeah. That's why their life is hell. They're like, they have automated nothing. UPS is like the worst software. I just watched them do it. I'm like, you've pressed so many buttons just for me to say yes to a package that was delivered with my name on it, that I'm holding a little thing that I pulled out of my box.
I work in IT and you're intimidating me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or as Yakto says, unless your name is Scotty Fit. So in my Discord, we run a Christmas Secret Santa, in which we exchange libations. Okay? A particular user by the name of Scotty, tried to visit a UPS store to ship me some libations for the holidays. In Michigan.
Suspended East.
He's from Michigan. And went to the UPS store, and they weighed the package, and they said, what's in it? And he goes, oh, it's holiday libations. And they said, yeah, we can't ship that. And they handed him the package back. And he goes, what if I said it was this? I said, you already said it was that. we can't ship this. And he goes, oh, well, that sucks. Okay, well, thank you. And so he goes to the next UPS store and says, hey, I'm shipping some things. It's some computer parts, and I need it to arrive by a certain date. And the person behind the counter kind of went, why is there liquid in it? And he goes,
liquid cooling.
And he goes, well, it's and he goes, we can't ship this. And he goes, okay, sorry. He goes to a third UPS store. He walks into the third UPS store with the box that he's carrying. And they said, the other UPS store called ahead. We can't ship that. Weigh, label, seal in advance so you can travel to said UPS store and you can say, please ship this. Because they'll scan and say received, and that's the only question they have to ask. If they have to ask any other questions, they're actually quite good at sniffing these things out. You do not want them to weigh and label your package.
There's mostly old people at my UPS store. And I don't think they ask a lot of questions. They seem stressed all the time because they're so busy. Also, when I updated my website to my UPS store address is on my website, and my wife immediately
mine is in the description. You can ship me things. It's down in the description.
But what's funny is my wife knew immediately why when she seen me update my address, because after I sold off part of my company, I went to a UPS store because I was like, well, technically there's two separate companies. Even though I have ownership in CNWR, I'm a separate entity. I'm a separate S corp than them, and I want to have my own address so people can ship me things. And my wife, when she seen me update the address, she's like, you chose that UPS store for a reason. I said, yes. The address is 420 Eureka. They did not have box 69 available, or trust me, I would have had it, because I wanted both the internet funny numbers on there. But she's like, 420 Eureka? Really? I'm like, that is exactly something a stoner says who has lost his weed and finds it. 420 Eureka! Like, there's something funny about that in my head. So that is why I have that address. That's why I go to that UPS store.
Do you know what irritates me to no end? Is I had a UPS box that I rented when I started my channel to do exactly that, to receive packages from the community and to receive things, high value items from vendors that for review, whatever else that I didn't want just dropped on my doorstep when I'm working full time. My box number was 419. I went, is 420 available? They went, no.
But the fact that the UPS store is addressed at 420 made me super happy.
That's funny. I will say, I have a phone number that ends in 1337.
Ooh. I like that.
Yeah.
Because that's always my lab VLAN is 1337.
Yeah.
Because it's 10.13.13.
Right, exactly. And so, but no, I my business phone number ends in the last four digits are 1337.
Nice.
That took some doing, let me tell you.
It's like, I love using internet funny numbers.
Yep.
Oh, man.
All right, so apparently I'm buying a microcloud tonight.
I feel like we're getting there.
Let me just say, YouTube does a great job at adding up your super chats for the night. Mine's at $997. I'm buying a microcloud tonight. It'll be here next week.
Nice.
Yeah. And as Elmo says, you're welcome.
Okay with this.
Mm-hmm.
I'll look forward to the videos on it. This is
content. And look, what I have chosen an X79 platform to put into my rack? No, probably not. But you guys chose it for me, and I'm not all that upset about it. I mean, that's what my channel was founded on. My very first video was on a, hey, here's a weird Chinese X79 motherboard that no one in English has reviewed. Let's take a look at it. There is a certain symmetry to X79, X99 that I have on my channel that just kind of works. Zeus, I'm not buying it. Zeus sends over $3 and his super chat says $1,000. You did put me over the $1,000 mark, but you're not taking credit for that. You get to name a node, but you don't get to name 4 nodes. But I appreciate the effort.
Yeah. I see someone says they run Proxmox and they'd like to try CPNG on something. I mean, it runs on most things. I mean, I'm running on a mini PC. I have a series of mini PCs. I was running it on one of those little, I think I tried it on the Cube too. What is that thing? Is it B-Link that made the little cube?
Yeah.
I have a TrueNAS on there. One of the videos I'm working on is backing up the internet, like Wikipedia specifically. There are a lot of other facets of the internet, but Wikipedia is a big primary one since there are, I don't know, forces at work, billionaires who kind of decided they hate Wikipedia for their own personal reasons. And I think having a copy of Wikipedia might not be a bad idea.
I've been considering doing that as well. It's only a couple terabytes. It's not that bad.
But what's better than this is there's I'm working on a really interesting concept. So I'm not a doomsday prepper, and please don't start Googling that or searching that on YouTube. You'll ruin your algorithm. You'll find a lot of people living in a fantasy land of how they can live off the land independently. Mm-hmm. They seem to be enjoying their fantasy, and there's a lot of views, and they always seem to grift their way into selling you magic jelly beans. But back to the topic here. So,
as an individual who does keep some like ration like stuff on hand, I've got a pantry, I've got some freeze dried food, I've got
the like, people I'm talking about.
I've got like a 2-month stockpile if like S hits the fan. Like I understand, but I've also gone down that rabbit hole, and I understand wholeheartly exactly what you're talking about.
Yes. The grift is hard in that world.
Yes.
And it is terrible, and you will ruin your auto. You start a new account in YouTube just to search this stuff. But back to what matters to hopefully the audience of here and Jeff.
Go ahead, Tom. I'm going to get sidetracked by this comment, but go ahead.
Okay. There is some really cool tooling out there, Internet in a Box, and a couple other companies. I had to pull up the names of them real quick. But the concept is, it's not just a backup of things like Wikipedia. How the hell are you going to get anywhere if the AI bubble pops, the data centers turn off, and you have satellites that are floating around the internet? So you have some geolocation data.
Right.
But did you know that you can completely have offline self-contained mapping, including using your Android phone, self-hosted mapping? So There's a few really cool toolkits that let you download a massive amount of data, maintain it up to date, as in you can keep refreshing it until the internet goes offline. And when it goes offline, that's the last copy.
And you have the latest copy, right?
Yeah. And it's really cool. I was surprised how Kiwix, Kiwix is one of the softwares that's doing it. They've got some really special formats that do archival formats that are meant to be used offline. So it's offline sections of the Wikipedia, or all of it if you have the room. They've got a ton of videos on a lot of things that you may need to survive on a disconnected world. It's a really fascinating project, and it didn't start for this purpose. It started because a lot of third world countries lack full online internet access, so this gives them an opportunity without high bandwidth connections to be able to have a school that teaches off of these different fundamentals and things. So it's kind of an interesting project. It's a fun rabbit hole to go down. By the way, back to the grifting thing. There are some grifters I found that sell these damn things and Raspberry Pis as prepper Raspberry Pis. They don't call them that. I forget what they call them. They're basically taking the open source Kiwik system, loading it on a Raspberry Pi, and selling it to you for like $900 or something like that. I'm like, oh, these people.
$45 in hardware. Yeah, no, it's a thing. Yeah, I've seen that. Thing. Can I just say, Zeus just sent me a link. And I've seen the system. Not only have I seen this system, I have a pre-existing relationship with Unix Surplus. Those are great guys over there. Yep, I love the guys over there. I've been to their headquarters twice now. I've walked around. I've talked to them. I've had lunch with them a couple of times. They're fantastic people.
Are they located right by you?
They're in San Jose, but I'm there.
Oh, okay.
I'm there 6 times a year, and so usually when I'm in town, I'll go get lunch with one of the guys over there. Cool. But I've seen this system in person. I want to preface with I've seen the system in person. Supermicro also has another micro cloud, which is a 6U box, which no one should buy. I want Tom to soak this in little by little.
I gotta look at the non-blurry version over here.
This is the Supermicro 6U 28 node Intel C2550 32 gigabyte blah 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 blah. What this is a 7x4. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there's 14 nodes per 3U, and this is a 6U server, so there's 28 total nodes. But it says Intel C2550. If we zoom into one of the nodes here, this is one of those nodes. There's an Intel C2550 with a single stick of RAM. There's another with another single stick of RAM. There's another with another single stick of RAM. And there's another with another single stick of RAM. This is 4 individual PCs on a single motherboard with 4 SATA slots. This is an Atom C2550.
Is that the one that died, though? The clock chip one?
No, that was the C1900.
Oh, C1900. Okay.
Yeah.
Make sure I'm not conflating those.
This is a C2550. Okay. Hold on. Let's go Intel C2550. Atom C2550. 4-core, 4-thread, 2.6 gigahertz, 14 watts. That's 14 watts times 4 per blade, because each of these individual CPUs is an individual node on a single motherboard. This motherboard has 4 nodes. This server is cursed. This is not a 28 node server. This is a 132 node server, or whatever the calculation works out to be. But you can't individually power one node. You have to power 4 nodes at a time. By the way, each of these nodes doesn't have its own individual NIC, or sorry. Each of these nodes does have its own individual NIC, which is terminated to a virtual switch within the backplane, which then goes to this cursed 16 port or 24 port 10 gig switch on the rear, which has QSFP on a couple of ports.
That's a cursed setup there.
It's weird.
You have the chance to make the funniest SEP cluster.
No, okay. I don't.
You don't have the patience for that.
No.
So you run into so many weird bugs with the way that it's set up. Like the setup of that's going to be hell.
So I will say, if you need that many individual cores, because that is 4 cores, times 28 times 4. It's 448 CPU cores and threads because they're single threaded. It's 112 nodes that terminates to a 16-port 10 gig switch, which also has 4 ports of QSFP 25 gig backplane. Yeah, I'm sure there's someone who needs that much multi-threaded workload at $1,279 each. Like, I'm sure there's one guy out there who goes, that's the ticket. That's the multi-node web server of my dreams.
And they're running Kubernetes.
Kubernetes is about the only thing you could run because I think a Pi 5 is faster than each of these nodes.
Yes, that is not a fast. Yeah. That's not a fast system.
Yeah. I'd much rather have this. If I'm going to have to run something, I'm going to define the CPUs on my own terms with my own DDR3, which, by the way, I still have tons of sticks of DDR3 around. I've got hundreds of gigs of DDR3. That's not going to be a problem.
Can we take a moment to just admire the person who photographed this and said, where did they get that C4 thing?
Well, that is C4. That's the Core 4 Solutions.
Oh, so that's their logo.
Yeah,
okay.
They're out of Minnesota. They're next to you.
Oh, well, that's in between us. That is not next. That is the place where we'd exchange our libations if we were driving to split the difference.
Okay, how many borders do you cross if you drive to Minneapolis?
4.
Okay. How many borders do I cross if I drive to Minneapolis?
I have no idea. I don't know what the western side of the United States looks like.
Way more than 4.
It's about miles, not borders.
If I go I-80...
If you drive through the sliver of that Idaho, they got that little piece that sticks up. Does that really count?
Right. If I go I-84 to Boise, and then, what is it, I-95 that takes the northern route across the rest, I still have to go... No, actually, you're right, because I would go Montana, North Dakota, Minnesota. I would still be 4.
Yeah. That's what I said. It's our halfway point. I think Minnesota's the halfway point.
No.
No, it's not?
No. By borders, yes, because you're going to go Detroit down to what? Illinois, Iowa, Wisconsin, Minnesota? Like, is that how you go?
Yeah, well, I'm just trying to figure out how many miles Minnesota is from me. So I don't have any idea.
Okay.
I've never drove there. I know it. Oh, Minnesota's not as far as I thought. It's 728 miles.
Yeah.
Okay, Minnesota's a lot closer.
So,
Geography's hard.
Here's the map, okay? So
geographically, you are further away, sir.
Oh, yeah. So you're here. I know exactly where you're at because you're in Detroit. You're on the other side of London, Ontario. Yep. Really easy to find on a map. It's this little place near the Great Lakes where everything combines.
This is why we all, this hand, depending on which way you're looking at it, but we just hold our hand up and say, I live here. This is what we do in Michigan.
Right. Yeah.
We don't ask what Florida people show.
Right. Anyways. Yeah. You're on the thumb of Michigan. Right. Yeah. So you would go Detroit,
Ohio,
Illinois, and then Wisconsin and Minnesota.
Yeah.
Right. So you'd go this little trail right here. Do you realize that trail is like a quarter of the distance I would travel because Western states are big?
Yeah. How many miles is it from your general area to Minneapolis? I don't have a reference for this.
Tell you what, let's go Salem, Oregon. Let's go directions. Let's swap it. Minneapolis, Minnesota. Because you're 700 and something.
728 miles.
I am 1,774.
You're like 1,000 miles more.
Yeah, so exactly what I thought. I would go I-84, which is this highway here. And actually, they have me going the northern route, which is into Washington. So I-84 can also take me down into Boise, Idaho, which is the southern route. That's coming down this road right here.
Oh, someone says we missed Indiana. No one cares about Indiana. There's
Uh,
nothing interesting there.
they call them the flyover states for a reason, and no one cares if we skip one.
Nope.
That's the rule.
Matter of fact, this year, first time I've ever been to Kansas. You know what? I cannot compel any of you to go to Kansas.
I've been to Kansas.
There's not a reason to go back.
Can't recommend it.
Can't recommend it. Sorry, Kansas.
I have my wife's extended family is from Kansas, currently lives in Kansas. We've had I went to Kansas in 2008. It was my wife's grandparents' 50th wedding anniversary. When they had their 60th anniversary, I went, I've been to Kansas. I'm not spending my vacation time on this. I love your family. I love them all.
Kansas
I want to
is
be
boring.
clear. But when you look at this map, I'm not going back to Kansas. I'm sorry.
Yeah, there's nothing there. What distracted me is my wife. My wife travels and I travel, and right now I was looking, I'm like, why is it short? I'm like, oh, that's right, my wife's not home, and she's not only not home, she's in Tennessee. So
okay, yeah.
I was like, it shows her in a different place now. She's in Tennessee. That's right.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Because it's funny. Next week she's going to Orlando and I'm going to Miami. So we'll both be in Florida, but we're not going to the same place in Florida.
You'll be, yeah.
It happens. Like we both have to travel for work we do, and so we just end up in different places a lot.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just go stay. Like she's wanting me to fly up and see her because it's a short flight from Miami to Orlando. I think it's like, I don't know, you get in a puddle jumper and
yeah.
It's a really short distance between those cities. I didn't know that until my wife explained to me. But I was like, I said I love you, honey, but I don't really feel like going to the event you're at. So
yeah, it's like an hour flight. It's
like an hour flight.
Yeah,
like Chicago's less than an hour flight for me too.
Right. Like I do, like I said, Bay Area all the time. So either San Francisco or San Jose. It's an hour and 20 minutes wheels up to wheels down. Like it is not a long flight. The Bay Area for me is about a 10-hour drive. And that's about the extent that I want to push any kind of road travel. I will drive 8 hours if I don't have to get on a plane. I have no problem doing that because I have to drive an hour to PDX. I have to spend 2 hours in the airport. I have to get on a plane. I have to fly in one of the most uncomfortable vehicles ever made for anyone who's above 6 feet tall, and I am 6'4".
Yeah.
I then have to land in the destination city, get a rental car or get an Uber, which are each equally pains in my ass.
Yep. There's no fun. There's no joy in either of those.
There's no joy in any way you slice it. So by the time I get to my destination hotel, I have spent 8 hours regardless of flight time.
Yep.
So San Francisco is a 10-hour drive. San Jose is about 11. I actually did that drive this year because a company wanted me down there, and I went, I've spent enough time driving. I'm going to drive my family down there. We're going to spend the night halfway. We're then going to drive the rest of the way. We're going to stay at a resort for half of the time. Yeah, the videos I did at Supermicro's headquarters, my family was staying about 40 minutes away at a 5-star resort. Which, the only reason that I did that video is because I got to drive down there, stay at the 5-star resort, which was fully paid for by the company who sponsored said video. I stayed at that resort the entire time. I drove to San Jose at 6 in the morning. I drove north to San Francisco and did a Talking Heads from PC World's headquarters in San Francisco with Adam Patrick Murray, and then drove back to my hotel and spent another 2 days at that hotel.
Hey, why not?
It worked out. It was great.
Yeah. I mean, I have to go to Florida for an event, but I don't enjoy it. The only travel I enjoy is like last week, I went off grid for 4 days, and that made me happy. I went to a motorcycle event off-roading event. So I went off-roading for 4 days. I took my camper, I threw my motorcycle in the truck, my dirt bike, and I met up with turns out 60 people showed up. My wife's like, you're just going to meet a bunch of strangers and go out in the woods off grid. And I'm like, pretty much, that's the story.
Doesn't that sound amazing?
This guy just started organizing this event. He calls it the Ohio Goat, and it's for the Great Ohio Adventure Trail. And he's like, he started posting some YouTube videos. He says, you guys should come ride this. And his videos only get like 2,000 views, but it turns out that's still enough to draw 60 people to a motorcycle event.
I mean, you and I have talked about this, about like selling advertisers on our content. And it's like,
yeah.
Like I've been trying to sell ads for X amount of money, and I get pushback from a lot of different companies about like, why should we pay you? I'll just say $1,000.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, you're going to reach out to people who genuinely want to buy your product, and it's probably going to be one of the best reach outs of your campaign because you're in the demographic that would buy that product. And they're like, I don't know. But then I'll reach out to like a hardware company, and said hardware company will gladly pay $100,000 for a booth at a convention where they collect 100 business cards, if they're that lucky.
Yeah. And
then they come to me and they say, well, why should we spend money advertising to you? And I said, what was your last event? And they go, oh, we went to Cephalacon, or we went to ZFS Summit, or we went to whatever else. And I said, how many business cards did you get? They said, oh, about 35, 40, maybe. I said, okay, how many of those are like legitimate leads? They said, oh, maybe 2 or 3. I said, and you spent $50,000 to go to that event.
Yep.
Pay me a quarter of that. You'll get 100 leads of actual industry leaders and
people who are interested in your product. Yeah.
Yeah. People who are genuinely interested in your product. You'll pay me a quarter of that.
Yeah. I mean, this is what my wife does, is she worked for a software company, and the lifetime value is so high for acquiring a client she sells a security product. The lifetime value is so high for these companies. I mean, some of her clients are paying her $20,000 a month. So they're willing to spend to land one of those $10,000, $20,000 a month clients. You know, I think the event she's at today, I think she's at 70K or something to be at that event. 50K, 50 to 70K.
Yeah.
It's not one of the bigger ones. The one she's at next month is the 100K one. So that she wanted me to go to. Her company's going to spend close to 100K to all in on to be at that event, just to collect a few business cards.
Right.
And badge scans. We don't do business cards. Just to collect some badge scans to be able to talk to them. That's the goal.
Yeah. Literally add 30 people to their email list. That's what they spend $100,000 to do. And I went, wouldn't you rather get 100 people to sign up for that list for like 10 grand? Like, wouldn't that be swell? And they're like, well, yeah, that would be amazing. And I went, that's what I'm offering. And they went, yep. You know what? Sold.
That's the difference between some of the influencer marketing. It is crazy to me that is still how we sell these large enterprise and corporate products. They're still sold mostly through trade shows and conventions. It's their number one lead conversion for that. I have some insights because get to see some inside information on how some of these companies work, because I've done advertising with them. It's amazing that how I've become a runner up through the sponsorships I've had to their absolutely insane budgets. And when I say insane budgets, some of these startups, one of the startups, I will leave them unnamed, but I do know their ad budget right now is $140 million. That's just their ad budget to spend on influencers right now. $140 million.
Yeah.
So it is insane what they do. Well, not just influencers, but all their marketing budget for this year and to get their name out there.
Yeah.
Like when these companies start up, that's where most of their money goes. I'm invested right now in 2 startups, and it's wild because I get to see their economics, and it's like how much they spend on the marketing is far more than they spend on the product. They spend a lot on the product, but the marketing is like, woohoo. That's that number.
So we've got a couple more super chats to get to.
Oh yeah.
The Fat Hacker, who's Australian, sends over $5 We take those. You need Nvidia P3454 tagged in ZWS for sale. This is an Nvidia P3454. It is a 10-node Tesla T10, which is the Turing T10 server. It's only $6,000.
Well, I mean, we got time. We can get the donations racked up to that, right?
Hacker, I love you. I love you to death. But what did you not understand about low power draw?
Someone's got to pay for that power draw.
There are 10 power supplies on the back of this 6U unit.
That's a lot.
Tom says that's a lot.
That's a lot. I love it.
That's a lot. It's also $6,000. But
do you know how many MacBook Studios we could buy with this?
Right? At least
It'd
3.
Be faster.
At least 3. Maybe 4.
3.
Yeah.
4. And it'd be faster and use less power.
Yep. Cheese. Mr. George over at Chips and Cheese says, also, Jeff, C2550 is Avaton. It is Avaton Core. It was marketed as Atom for a while. They were included as Atom CPUs in netbooks. I know my history because I was alive and a fully fledged adult when those hit the market. So, I love you, Cheese, but you're young. Zeus sends over another $2. I'm sure the Bolt EV can make it with a few charges, talking about me driving to Minnesota.
Yeah. Don't drive in the winter.
Don't drive in the winter. I am looking at a mod for my Bolt, which you might find interesting. So I know you've been an EV guy for a little while now.
6 years now.
Right. So I recently joined that trend. What was that? June? I think I bought my EV. I bought a 2017 Chevy Bolt. Because I didn't want the tax credits to expire, which they since have, and so it was a great buy. I paid $7,000 cash for a 2017 Chevy Bolt with a brand new battery in it, with a 8-year warranted battery.
Oh, nice.
Right? Mm-hmm. Now, my Chevy Bolt does have DC fast charging, but it is limited to 50 kilowatt. Which means if I want a full charge, it's going to be an hour and a half because it's a 66 kilowatt hour battery. You have inefficiencies below 10% and above 80%. And so really you have like this 180 mile window between 10 and 80 that you can charge in if you want to do like cross country trips. So every 3 hours of 60 mile an hour driving, you have to stop for an hour to recharge from 10 to 80. That's what it means. I don't drive cross country. I drive to Seattle. That's my trip. You know what Seattle is? It's 210 miles. You know what 210 miles is? Within the range of my 0 to 100. So I don't care. That's the longest car trip I take. If I'm taking something longer, I'm taking my wife's Toyota Sienna hybrid minivan, which gets 35 miles to the gallon, does 600 miles on a tank, and fills in 5 minutes. That's what I'm taking. The EV is for me. The EV is for me to drive around town and charge and pay 7.4 cents per kilowatt hour at my home charger, which means I pay 2 cents per mile. I have owned this EV since June. I have spent $58 charging it.
It's amazing how little. Well, no, my EV recently cost me a bunch of money. Let me explain how. So we drive the EV everywhere, and it is cheap to charge just like yours, but that means we don't drive our truck. So the brakes got rusty on a truck. That cost me a bunch of money to replace the brakes on my truck for not driving it because they had seized up. So that did cost me money. The EV's fine, but the truck got rusty brakes.
What's really funny is that's precisely why I bought the EV, is because I owned 3 vehicles outright. I owned 3 vehicles with title in hand. I had a 2004 Nissan 350Z 6-speed 3.5 liter 290 horsepower rear-wheel drive 6-speed manual. It was
those are fun.
My favorite car that I've ever owned. It was a roadster too, so it was convertible top. Loved that car. As soon as I stopped commuting to work on a regular basis because I don't work anymore outside of my house, that convertible top started turning to dust. So I needed to spend $1,500 to put a new top on it. That was a lot of money. I didn't like that. So I sold the 350Z this last November. But then I still had 2 other vehicles that I owned outright that I don't make payments on. I don't need to spend a dime on, right? I had a 2012 Ram 1500 and a 2008 Mazda CX-9. Guess what? When gas vehicles don't get driven because you're only driving 8 miles a day, 3 days a week, those vehicles turn to dust too.
Yeah.
ICE vehicles need to be driven to be maintained. Brakes, steering racks, power steering pumps, air conditioning, heater cores. They need fluids moving through them to maintain those seals. When they don't get driven, they turn to dust. I have since sold both of those vehicles as well, and I bought myself an EV because the EV doesn't need to be maintained as much. It might need to be maintained eventually if it doesn't get driven that much, but at the same time, I reduced 3 vehicles down to 1. Guess what? That vehicle's driven 10 to 20 miles a day.
Yep. I go to the grocery store. That's mostly,
right.
Well, I have my wife wanted a scooter and I ended up buying one too. So I do have a nice Piaggio. That's my grocery getter. So I actually don't drive when I can avoid it. I drive neither car is for long periods of time.
Absolutely. I also have a 1500 watt e-bike cargo bike that I love driving around.
Those are fun.
I also, this is almost 10 years ago now, I built myself a Dewey cycle. Oh, sorry, a 2-stroke motorized bicycle with a shifter kit on it, which is amazing. I had those
for a little while. Those are cool.
It's so much fun. So I still have those as well, which I still do drive occasionally because they're just hella fun.
They're just fun.
Right.
I've not bought any e-bikes. I've avoided those so far, but I might buy one eventually.
Yeah.
I have a bicycle. I have a recumbent bicycle with panniers on it, and I use that to ride as well to go to the grocery store sometimes.
Oh, yeah. No, if it's above 50 degrees, I'm more than happy to take my cargo bike down to my P.O. box, which is in the video description. If you want to send me yeast samples and suspension, you could totally do that. Yeah, I take that down there if it's above 50. Now, we're into October. It's not above 50 anymore. I'm driving the EV. But
yeah,
I'm going to mod my EV.
It is 47 here right now. So
yeah, it is. It's not even that here.
Really?
It's 48. Yeah.
Well, okay. They're about the same.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to put a mod on my EV because my Chevy Bolt doesn't have a heat pump.
Oh.
It has an air conditioning compressor, and so it does have air conditioning, which runs on a tiny electric motor, which is actually fairly efficient. It's like 1500 watt or 1.5 kilowatt if you want to run the air conditioner. That's fine. That barely touches my range when I'm, pulling 1200 kilo or 12,000 watt driving 45 miles an hour. Like, yeah, that's totally doable. What's not doable is the 9,000 watt resistive heater for the heater core.
Mm-hmm.
There's a company that makes a diesel heater, hydronic heater replacement that you put in line with your existing heater core. So you burn a little bit of diesel fuel in exchange for not running your 9,000 watt heater.
That is the killer on electric vehicles, even if you have the heat pump.
Right.
Even if you have that. It uses a lot more electricity. And think about this from a comfort standpoint.
Right.
I would like my car to be at 70 degrees.
Yeah.
It is 90 outside, so it's not 70 degrees. So I have to bring it down from 90 to 72 or 70 degrees. So you're dropping, let's say, roughly 20 degrees on a really hot day here in Michigan. And we don't have too many days over 90. We're generally only in the 80s. So you're only maybe dropping in 15 degrees.
Yeah.
But on the cold days, right now, it is not cold in Michigan. It is 47.
Right.
But February is almost upon us. January and February are the really cold months here in Michigan.
Yeah.
It may get to 12 degrees, maybe negative 12 degrees on one of our little frost things. We have to take a car from negative 12 all the way back up to 70.
That's 82 degrees if you follow the number scale.
Yes. So I have to swing it way the other way. And that is why it takes so much. People don't realize it's not just the fact that it's a resistive element and you're doing a different type of function. You're also dramatically moving the dial from how far away from your comfort zone you are. And that is a killer with electric cars, is the range drop from not the, well, I mean, there is a little bit challenge of pulling power out of these battery types we currently have. The current battery technology, it is less efficient when it is colder. So power does not come out of it as easily. But there's also the fact that you're using a whole lot of it just to keep the humans inside from shivering.
But add a 9,000 watt load to that for your resistive hydronic heater.
Yeah.
That is the heater core inside of the Chevy Bolt. Yeah, I have just, it's still 45 here. Like, we're not that cold yet. We're not even to freezing yet. And we will have some days that are in the mid 20s. We don't get nearly as cold as you guys do.
Right.
But we will still pull days that are 28, 25, 22 that I need to get back up at least to 60. That's still a 40-degree swing. If I've got to heat a resistive coil up to get 60-degree air temp blowing out of my heaters so I can defrost my windshield and defog everything and whatnot, I have to run that 9,000 watt heater on top of the 12,000 watt load. I go from 4.2 miles per kilowatt hour down to 2.
Yeah, it's just a dramatic difference.
Right.
Question.
There's a company that makes a diesel heater that goes in line with its own water pump, that you don't even turn the heater on in your Bolt anymore. You run this diesel heater, which uses about 1 gallon of diesel fuel every 12 hours.
Nice. Those diesel heaters are popular. They're really efficient.
I already own 2 diesel heaters. I know how good they are. I have one in my garage to heat my 900 square foot garage, and then I have another one in our travel trailer that I use to heat that. And they're wonderful. And the one for the car goes in line with your water system. And so it actually just heats the water the same way that your resistive heater would in your heater core. So you will see almost no range reduction when it's cold outside.
That's nice.
It's $300 to add it to your car. And I went, I'm sold. We're in October still. I'm a first-time EV buyer. I am already sold on this mod.
Yeah. Yeah, no, if you have to do some driving, we don't go far enough so it matters.
Yeah.
Like, we just don't drive. Everything's close. I'm very suburbanite here.
Yeah.
Matt. And we just don't take, the car is just not necessary for road trips. I have my truck that I hook my camper to, but because rural Michigan does not have electricity. So,
right.
Or even like where I went camping for the motorcycle trip. There's no electricity there either. There's no hookups or anything. It was kind of nice, but
yeah, in Oregon where I'm at, I'm generally a suburbanite. Like, I don't get out to the country all that much. Everyone in Oregon and Washington, for the most part, lives within about 5 miles of I-5. And so as long as you're on I-5, which I am, you'll find chargers, you'll find everything you need. The problem is, if I need to stop 4 times before I hit Seattle and charge an hour every time, Seattle's a 3-hour drive. Like, that should not cost me 7 hours because it's winter time. If I had a diesel heater to my car and I can do that again without charging, if I can hit Seattle and then charge when I get to Seattle, that's the longest drive I will ever take with my EV.
Yeah. And that's where I will admit the supercharging on the Tesla is super nice.
Yeah.
It is instant. It is crazy how many kilowatts they push into those things.
Yeah.
I need a quick bio break. Are we going to go for a little bit longer?
Yeah, go ahead and take that. And,
okay, I'll do that
absolutely. I don't know if I have a scene set up for this. I think I can go.
Coming. Fair enough.
Hold on. We'll get it going here. I'm going to remove. No one can see me right now, which is fine. So Tom, go ahead and take your break. I'm going to add in my video capture device. I'm going to add my camera. Hey, there we are. Look at that. All right, we're going to go back to the LCARs for a little bit. Excellent. Here I am. Look at me in all of my glory. Cool. How's the chat going? Red alert, yes. Thank you. Vince wants to know, the Homelab doesn't heat the garage. Actually, I've done a lot of work with my Homelab over the last couple of years, so it doesn't generate that much power. My Homelab is only like 650 watts. And that's only what's generated, not even what's absorbed, because I also have an outlet for my Homelab, which directs everything straight to the outside. And so, no, my Homelab doesn't generate all that much heat anymore, nor does it even go to the ambient. And so, even though it's generating 650 watts, there's still a duct that pulls that hot air out to the outside. That runs all the time. I could probably close that off in the winter and absorb some of that heat. And in fact, I probably should. But it's still only 650 watts. Like, a tiny little resistive heater from Amazon is 1,000 watts. Like, one of the little feet heaters that you get for underneath your desk, that's 100% efficient, is only 1,000 watts, or maybe 900 watts. It's not going to heat 900 square feet. I have a diesel heater mounted in my garage. Diesel burning way more than 1,000 watts.
I am back.
All right. Perfect.
Oh, there we go.
Cool. You know, we didn't get to a lot of our other stories tonight.
We did not.
Let's see what else we've got in the pipe, because I've got my notes up here. Yeah, we didn't talk about anything. No. We've got the AWS / Azure outage that we didn't talk about.
Well, that was today's outage, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think we have a postmortem on that one yet.
Yeah, I don't think we have a postmortem on this, although I've heard through the grapevine that today's outage was also DNS.
Of course it was.
So, last week's outage with AWS, the postmortem is out, and it's amazing. If you can't read the title here, a single DNS race condition brought Amazon's cloud empire to its knees. By the way, chef's kiss to the register. I always love their titles.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful titles.
Just great. But reading into this one, they get to the point right away. Amazon has published a detailed postmortem explaining how a critical fault in DynamoDB's DNS management system cascaded into a day-long, or for the more technical among us, 19 hours long outage that disrupted major websites and services across multiple brands, with damage estimates potentially reaching the hundreds of billions of dollars. Yes.
Yeah. Commerce did not happen. USA East went just
right.
There's not a word for it. I just there's not.
If you want to know what DynamoDB is, it's this peg in this comic.
Yes.
That's what that was. So I opened 2 beers. I drank both said beers, one of which was a 10%, which, again, recapping, I'm going to send you one of these. I'm going to send you one of those, because if you're a Juice Force fanatic, this is even better.
Level of magic.
I'm going to take a bio break, but then I also have a third beverage that I want to open. And so I'm going to kick the show to you momentarily. I think I can go that. Hold on. Let me get you up here. And let me expand you like that. And hey, look, it's Tom. And the show is yours. And I will be back momentarily.
Yes. I will bring up something, actually. Let me go grab it because it's sitting. Where is it? I think it's within my reach. This is interesting to me, and I can't pull the site up, but if you had to do, and I do have it within reach, if you've ever had to do DAC reprogramming, fs.com for a while had one of the cheapest ones out there. Our friends over at Unify, and they have a box now for this. This is a USB-C on one end for charging, and we got QSFP and DAC on this. This will allow you to reprogram DAC to different encoding. Now, that's not news, so to speak. So like that's a feature that's been around for a while. As like I said, fs.com has sold these boxes. A little box like this is around the $500 mark from QS that'll do QSFP and DAC from fs.com. And there's more expensive ones you can buy. This is $49 from our friends over at Unify. That's the feature, is the fact that I can reprogram the DAC for different compatibility for $49. And I was like, that's interesting to me. Unify's been kind of interesting because first they're offering things without no licensing, which is cool. That's kind of like their thing they do. But they're disrupting other markets too, including the DAC market here, by saying, why don't we offer that box for like $50 so people can do that? I thought that was worth noting, just the fact that you can pick up something that cheap. Not to mention some of their new NASs and things like that. Like they're expanding out into some of their markets between their cameras, their NAS, and oddly some of their networking gear. But then this, I thought it was worth noting though that they have these right now. They're sold out, I'm sure, because at $49, everyone's going, why don't I have a $49 SFP reprogrammer in my kit? So yeah, I thought I'd mention this. I had it in our news notes, but it's just kind of a novel thing. It's one of those features that Unify to me has, is the fact that they've done something for such a low price. By the way, this is a touchscreen on this as well. So you reprogram it. Do I have a cable handy? No, I put them all away. But you just pop the cable in, you can copy one and write to another. Just kind of novel. I was fascinated by this for the price point.
Okay.
It's a good tool. I was just telling Jeff, like the feature of this little SFP programmer is the fact that it's $49.
Oh yeah. No, I completely forgot we added that to our notes. Let me pull up the page here, because holy crap.
So hold on, because someone wants to see how it works. Yeah, this is just novel. So I'm going to plug one in real quick. This is it says hold on. So this is programmed for Cisco right now. And what you could do is I plug this in and then you just do a read. So it's got a read or a write option. And I've already wrote, so I can do a copy. I'll copy because I want to copy the Cisco programming out of this.
Yeah.
And profile copied. It does it really fast. And then I plug another one in. And then I plug it back in, and I can plug the same one in. It doesn't really matter. And I just hit write, and it takes the same short amount of time, and it will then write back to this DAC interface the proper coding on it to make it happy. Now, Unify themselves does not care what DAC cables you put into it. But for those of us that have to deal with the real world circumstance, I know we all love a homogenized stack of the same hardware, but the real world doesn't, for budget reasons. Usually they usually have some interoperability we have to do, and being able to reprogram these switches or reprogram the DAC so they will allow interoperability from one end to another saves me from ordering a custom cable and makes my life easier. And for $49 compared to $500 from fs.com, crazy different price.
I have not had this for years.
What is it?
And I saw it in the store today, and I went, I'm going to walk away with that. This is from Dansk Mjød. This is the Viking's Blood Mead.
Would you believe I have Viking's Blood upstairs?
Do you have Viking's Blood upstairs?
I do. I think it's. I can't remember. I think it's the same. It looks. Mine's in a green bottle, so anything different.
Might be a different blend, but yeah, they have multiple different blends of this.
I have the green bottled one of that.
Okay, yeah. I saw this in the store today, and I went, that sounds delicious tonight.
It's a little sweet, but I like it.
Right.
I'm not as much of a sweet person. Like,
yeah,
things like this, the Elijah Craig rye.
Oh, the small batch rye is phenomenal.
This is my jam. Like, this is my favorite thing. I like this better than the Guinness I had.
I love the Elijah Craig, a little peppercorn with a little green apple. It's just freaking good.
Yeah. It's Elijah Craig's among my favorites.
Mm-hmm.
I did have the Jefferson, and I'm unimpressed by that. The one that's done on the boat. I don't know if you've seen those.
Oh, yeah.
Jefferson Ocean, I think it's called.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I had it. I won it at an event. And so it's the only reason I wouldn't. But after having it, I'm like, I'm so happy I did not spend what this bottle cost. The bottle's like $129.
Right.
And I was like, I'm happy to win this. It was good, but it wasn't $129 good. This is more quantity for less than $120, and I think it's better. But Angel's Envy is among my favorites as well. This one and Angel's Envy, it's always a toss-up between them. Jefferson's Ocean, all variants, hard pass. Yeah, some people don't like it.
Yep.
I don't think it's bad. It's not as smooth. Oh, I am saving for special occasions. I have some Pappies left. So if you do manage to wander your way out to Detroit, we will share some Pappies.
I could go for some Pappy. I wouldn't pass that up. Yeah. I really
when it runs out, I got to decide if I want to buy another. So, because unfortunately, I don't have that client anymore. The client I had, did I tell you how I acquired Pappy?
Yeah.
One of my clients gave it to me, a whole bottle of it. Yeah. So, because he buys it by the case.
Yep. Yeah. One of my favorites is the Angel's Envy rye that is the port barrel finished. Like, if I had to choose one whiskey to drink the rest of my life, it'd probably be that.
Yeah. Yeah. They ain't. I haven't had any of the Angel's Envy variants that I don't like. They're all really good.
Right. Sir Bobbles chimes in. Angel's Envy Triple Oak is dangerous. Like, literally, you were typing that as I was saying. My favorite whiskey is Angel's Envy Rye Port Finish. You know,
think about this. It's a bold move to call something like Angel's Envy, especially if it would have been like it's something that sucked. Like, we just agreed Jefferson Ocean, not great. But if no one says Angel Envy, not great. Like, they went bold with the name, but then owned it, like, and won it. No one goes, I don't know anyone that doesn't like it. If you're a whiskey lover, you go, only people don't like Angel's Envy, or people just don't like whiskey.
No, what's funny is there is a name that cuts the other direction, and that is Devil's Cut. Was it Jim Beam who did that? I think it was Jim Beam who released Devil's Cut. Because there's when you're distilling and aging whiskey, there is a certain percentage that is lost to the environment. You are evaporating in a controlled environment, but that evaporation does take place. There's also absorption of the whiskey that you're aging into the barrels that you're aging them in. And all American whiskeys have to be aged in new American oak. So brand new oak barrels, they're not saturated with whiskey already. They have a light char on them. That's what you're aging them in. And Jim Beam went out and they made, I think it was Jim Beam, made Devil's Cut. And it is the Devil's Cut and Angel's Share are where those terms come from. And it is the term Devil's Cut is lost to... Devil's Cut was lost to evaporation. And Angel's Cut or Angel's Share is lost to absorption into oak. Is the way that they defined those things. And Jim Beam said they found a way to take back from the Devil's Cut. And so whatever their aging method was, if they like put a vacuum onto the chamber and pulled something back out, but it was part of their process of getting it. Unfortunately, Devil's Cut freaking sucks. It's not good.
I've never tried it because I don't like Jim Beam. So
right.
Any Jim Beam variant probably won't make me happy either.
Right. But then, yeah, Angel's Envy comes from Angel's Share, which is the percentage absorbed by the barrel.
Okay, I did not know that.
Yeah. And in fact, if you ever get into distilling or like start up a proper thing, the ATF actually has weights and measures of expected loss of product during the distillation process. And so if you say we made 80 gallons of mash and outputted 72 gallons of whiskey, they'll know mathematically what you should have outputted from the mash that you build and what the ABV was and what your cut was with water on the back end and everything else. They have the maths that tell them, did they actually sell that 80 gallons of mash, or should it have made more and they cut something off and they're selling it at, they're bootlegging the rest. There's whole formulas that go into all of that.
I'm saying to you because you'll be able to share it easier than I can.
Yeah.
I actually did just do a tour of a distillery.
Oh, really?
Yeah. If anyone's had this before, they're out of Detroit, to James. So I'll send the picture. So this can be shared.
Yeah.
They gave me a behind the scenes tour, but I love they had a custom made for their still. It's all copper and it's just super cool to see. But it's in a place called Corktown, Detroit. It's one of the oldest things in Detroit. So I love seeing the whiskey distilling stuff and learning how they do it and getting those tours are so cool to me.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do any of this stuff, but it's especially the last picture. Yeah, that's a cool handmade still.
That is a cool hand-hammered copper still.
Yes. And To James is a popular brand around here. Mm-hmm. I don't know how broad people know them outside of here, but yeah, it's pretty cool. I have a close-up. The third picture I sent you is a close-up of the what it says in the middle, because it says Corktown, Detroit. It's etched into it.
Oh, that's cool. Okay. I was going, am I going to share those? Because it's a task, because you're sending me in Discord and I'm not screen sharing.
Oh, yeah. So I wasn't sure. It's something to you because I don't know how to.
Hold on, I
know how to hit screen share. I don't know if that'll work.
Also, the browser that I'm using to display right now is Microsoft Edge, because I'm not logged in there. It doesn't have my history. Like, it's not going to autocomplete, But here we go. Yeah, I keep a clean browser simply so I can share pictures on that browser and share images and things that I open. Where's the other?
It was the third one. I'd say. That's the second one. This is To James Distillery in Detroit. It is on the stop list. We will probably make, Jeff, if you wander into Detroit, because Corktown is a cool place in Detroit. Go. And that's I like the little etching in it. There's just cool. Especially if you know like the history of Corktown, it's this really, it's where the original Tiger Stadium was. It is where there's still cobblestone. You walk across the cobblestone.
Oh, nice.
Because it's this little preserved part of Detroit that's OG. Like, this is the original place where houses are really, really old. In this, I think it was the first town in Detroit, and it's when you stand in it, it's where Michigan Avenue is, and as you go further, you're in the proper downtown Detroit by only like a mile, so you can see the city from a mile away, but you're in this weird little spot that's just kind of cool. It's got a vibe to it. It's neat. It's one of those places, like, if I wanted to show you and give you the culture tour of Detroit, it's on our stop list, Corktown.
Yes.
Yeah. It's got some there's more than one place though that's serving. Oh man, the Cork and Gable. I took Dakota there. And he's just like, this is cool. They took the part of the fire kiln, like massive, giant. I think they used to do like smelting of steel there. They built it into the door. You swing open this giant piece of it, and there's a door behind it, and that's how you get into the building. And it's distinctive when you see it. You're like, oh, this is industrial, and this is like part of it. You can look up Cork and Gable on like if you look up Cork Gable Detroit, they have all the pictures. You can Google that in your clean browser and share it. But it's kind of a neat. It's one of the places we'll stop. They have really good mixed drinks, really good food. Their wings are something to be admired. They have a very different take on how they do wings. Like really good seasoning, really good. They're not. These are not buffalo wings. They do not call them that.
Yeah,
they are far beyond. They're more evolved with good mixers and drinks.
Yes.
Dakota, we took Dakota on the Detroit tour, and he was like, okay.
Nice.
So we took him, for those of you who know Dakota, also known as the Bearded IT Dad.
Bearded IT Dad, yeah.
Yeah. It was, it's funny how that came about. He come on my live stream, and I knew who he was from there, and I actually done a video with him before, but I didn't really know
who, by the way, lives 8 miles from me, and I've never met in person.
Yeah, you never met him. He lives 8 miles away from you, never met him. But he says, I've never been to Detroit at all. And I was like, why don't you come by? And he says, sure. And I said, you can stay with me. He said, really? I've never done that before. I don't know you. I was like, so we were DMing this. And I was like, take a chance. I'm not that strange.
Right.
Or maybe I am. But either way, I'm probably the right kind of strange. So he flew out. I picked him up from the airport. I'm 15 minutes from the airport, by the way. So if you're flying into DTW, text me. That's what I tell people all the time. We pick up our friends from the airport because I'm so close to it. And he hung out with us for like 4 days. And had a great time. We took him to all the Detroit places and places I go, and just had a fun time. And so, yeah. Same thing, Jeff. If you want to come, we have an extra bedroom.
Look, we've talked about this before, and I think I'm in a position now where I could just book a flight out to Detroit and spend a couple of days. And so, yeah, it's probably going to happen. I know we're entering winter here pretty quick, and look, I'm all for a 0 degree outside day. Like I've lived that before. That's not a big deal.
No, November's, if you do come in November, it's not that bad. We don't really get cold until January, February are really cold months. December's just busy because of holidays and everything else. Yeah. But November's not a bad time to, if you decided, I don't know what your schedule looks like, but
Yeah. Here in Oregon, December, January are our cold months. So about midway through December, we'll kind of bottom out, and then we stay that way through the end of January. And so we've got about 6 weeks that we bottom out in winter. Lawrence Systems to PDX LAN win. Yeah, we gotta get you out to my neck of the woods and get you
been out there in a while.
Get you some Oregon pizza, some Oregon beers. Yeah, we can make that happen.
Look, to give you an idea of some of the vibes we have here in Detroit. If you look up the apparatus room, there's another one you can look up. Just do an image search for the apparatus room Detroit, and that's one of the places we'll stop. Just to give you the vibe, it's a fire station turned into a bar. I know, and this is genuine. They did not make this place look like this. This is a fire station. Those are the doors that would open up for the trucks to drive out.
Look, when Tom and I spent some time together in North Carolina earlier this year, we found a speakeasy together.
Oh, great place. Beautiful place. We enjoyed it greatly.
Yes.
Chef's kiss on the blind elephant. So
yes,
and that's what the vibe is. There's some of those places in Detroit, and that's a vibe I love. And it turns out me and Jeff had a good conversation because we went there. And other people did not join us because they apparently had to sleep or something. I don't know.
They had to sleep, or they were a little skeeved out by that's just an alley with this random door at the end. And we're like, no, that's totally a speakeasy.
That's a speakeasy. Right. There was a great sign that just said this way. Yeah, and I was like, Jeff, it's calling our name. And Jeff's like, I have a flight in the morning, but there's a sign that says this way, so I must go.
Right. So hold on. I think I can I pull this up? Let me see if I can
look up Blind Elephant, Wilmington, North Carolina.
Yeah.
I'm positive you'll do an image search and find lots of pictures of that.
Yep, Blind Elephant, Wilmington, NC. Images. I'm looking for the alleyway shot because that's what sold it for me. It wasn't even the speakeasy itself. It was the want to take a chance with a martini glass spray painted on the side of a brick building.
Hold on. I certainly have a picture of that.
I have a picture of it too. I was going to pull it up.
Well, you tell me how. I don't know which is easier. I'm sending you the photo right now, so I don't know if it's the steps you have to go through are less.
Yeah, no, I could get it.
Okay.
Oh yeah, perfect. Yeah, the can you keep a secret?
Can you keep a secret? That's a sign on an alley.
I got it.
Yeah, that place is cool.
Who amongst us sees this and doesn't go that direction? If you don't take a chance on this speakeasy, you don't belong in this in this YouTube chat, in my Discord.
And then the sign, and I zoomed in, but it's funny because it looks so nice, but the reality is the zoom on my camera at night sight is freaking amazing.
Yeah.
But the next photo I just sent you of what it looked like down the alley.
Yeah, I got one of those shots too. Hold on. Oh yeah, no, I got the full alley shot. Hold on.
You get the full. I realized I did
up.
not have it.
Yeah, I gotta pull that up. One sec.
I see. Americans Consworth is says Firehouse, Engine 9, and Tacoma. Yeah, I like places that are very genuine.
Yeah.
The other one, after you show that image, if you want to look one up for Detroit, I mean, I've not been there in years. Me and my wife should just go there because we haven't been there in a minute. Cliff Bell's in Detroit. Cliff Bell's has a story behind it because you're not walking back into a bar that was made to look like it stepped back in time. Cliff Bell's was part of the Roaring 20s, and in the 40s, it closed. I think it was late 40s, it closed. Oh, yeah, you got the whole alley picture.
I got the whole alley picture.
Nice.
This is what that sign was pointing to. You can see the edge of the graffiti right here. And it's just like
come you should walk down this alley where there's air conditioners raining.
That pallet stack of stairs at the end of the alley is what we walked up to enter the speakeasy.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So do an image search, or you can pull up their website. Look for Cliff Bell's Detroit. It's cool because it's a time capsule that was restored to its original glory, but never rebuilt. They just had to knock the dust off because it was sealed for 70 something years, 60 or 70 years. I think 70 or 80, actually close to. They opened it around 2010-ish, 2012. Cliff Bell's is amazing. That is not a recreation. That is what it looks like. They took the facade and turned it inside out and put it inside the building and put a board over it, and they opened it back up. So they have pictures of what the original bar looked like, and they've just reopened it. It's a unique place to go.
Dude, that is freaking gorgeous.
The cove ceiling, the hand-done stuff, that whole background you're seeing there is all inlay of very, very fine art.
Oh, the wood inlay on the starburst there. Holy crap,
beautiful,
man.
Beautiful. The drinks there are to match. It is a unique place. It is one of a kind to go to Cliff Bell's.
See, you guys have the architecture. Portland's a much newer city comparatively. If you want to go to Jeffrey Morgenthaler's bar, who is the one who wrote the handbook on 20th century cocktails, his bar is in Portland. Like, we can make that happen.
Yeah. It's just interesting. Detroit has such a collection of Art Deco and things that are, it's just all original. It's not been changed. It's not been touched. Some of the stuff has not been touched for 100 years.
Yeah.
You do a tour of the Masonic Temple. It is a building. And I've now that I've traveled more, I have a greater appreciation for Detroit. I have an appreciation because now that I've gone to other places, it just don't have what we have.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I thought this was other places. And now that I've spent time in like New York City, and New York City's a beautiful place as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chicago's cool, but man, once you've been around some of these buildings, Detroit, you realize Detroit survived and was built by 3 major eras. We had the first, the lumberjack era, the what do they call them? The lumber barons, as we refer to them to. If you go to the Ghost Bar, which is a really cool place at I can't remember the name of the bar now, but I know the Ghost Bar is really cool there. The next one is the Fisher Building or any of those. They were built off these lumber barons. Then the next era came when we discovered there was steel and iron ore in the northern part of Michigan. So then it went crazy after that. Is that the Ghost Bar? Yeah. Yeah. It is. It is a cool place. And then on top of that, after that, we had the automotive industry. So we had 3 eras in a row, back to back to back, that were the absolute insane amounts of money in Detroit. So there was a competition of like none other to see how much they could possibly spend on a building. Look up the Fisher Building. It is.
I've seen the Fisher Building. Yeah.
You're just like, you're walking in these places, and some of the bathrooms have marble walls between the stalls. They decided marble was the thing to go with because it was a competitive nature thing of how much money they could possibly spend on things. So yeah, you do these tours, you're just like, wow.
I found the more I travel, the more I'm kind of coming to the realization, much like you, how much I love coming home.
You can appreciate certain things.
Yeah. And like, look, I was born here. Like, I know you were born like near Detroit. You've lived in Detroit your entire life. I was born in Eugene, Oregon. I've lived within the same 80-mile stretch my entire life. Actually, 60 miles is I think all I've traveled as far as like where I've put down roots. I spent 20 years in Eugene. I spent 20 years in Salem. And growing up, I didn't get to travel all that much because my family didn't have a lot of money. My dad went to like trainings in New York and New Jersey and Montana and Texas and things like that, but I never got to go. Furthest I ever got to go was like Bend, Oregon, and once we went to Disneyland, and we drove. But so I didn't get to travel. I think my third time outside the state was when I was like 22 years old and I drove there myself. And so I didn't travel at all when I was a kid. And, 22-year-old me couldn't wait to get out of Oregon. But the more I travel and the more experience that I have, like just this year, I've been to North Carolina, I've been to Dallas, I've been to Denver, I've been to Arizona, I've been to San Jose and the Bay Area like 6 times. I've been to Taipei, I've been to Seattle, I've been to Vancouver, BC, and that's just this year. The more I love coming home, the more I absolutely love where I live, the area, the culture, the history, the views, everything about it, the climate.
Yeah. You have a little bit more moderate climate than we have here in Detroit.
Yeah, we're Detroit plus 15, and so we will bottom out in the winter. We'll get some days in the teens. Most of our winter is spent with a low of 31 and a high of 34. And so we never really snow. We'll get a little bit of frost on our windshields in the morning, but it's never iced over. It's never bad. except for about once every 7 or so years. About once every 7 years, we'll have a winter where we dip that extra 5 degrees. That cripples us because we don't have the infrastructure to survive those kind of climates.
Right.
We don't have snowplows.
Yeah. We
don't.
Do. We get snow sometimes, but sometimes
yeah.
It's a cycle, but yes.
It wasn't until like 2016 that we got de-icer trucks, because we've never needed them before. In my adult lifetime, we've had the 3 worst winter storms in the history of Oregon. In fact, we had one in 2021 that was brutal. We got almost an inch of rainfall that fell as freezing rain. Overnight, and we all woke up in the morning. It was Valentine's Day. It was February 14th, 2021. We all went to bed. It's kind of raining. We all wake up in the morning, and there's this much ice over every surface.
Ice storms are wild.
Ice storms are wild. And so me and all the neighbors in the cul-de-sac, so I lost power that night. And I have sump pumps on my house, which then proceeded to fail after the battery backup ran out. And so I ended up with 5 inches of water in my basement.
I remember
including the office here. Right. Like that was a whole thing on my channel. Right. The power came back on. The sump pumps did their job. They evacuated all the water. That's cool. At one point, I got up because my neighbor's 100-year-old oak tree in their front driveway had fallen into their house. And so I crawled over their oak tree and up their like 1.5-story porch to knock on their door to make sure everyone was okay. And they answered the door and went, "Hey, yeah, thanks for checking on us. That's cool. How did you get up here?" Because I crawled up the tree to get up there.
Yeah.
But come like 8 o'clock in the morning, we're all standing out in the middle of the cul-de-sac. And about every 5 seconds, you can hear a new tree snap. Just all over the place. Just trees falling like crazy. We had parts of the city that were out of power for 12 days. Because of the ice. Because it just took down everything.
Yeah. Those storms we don't get too many ice storms. Last year, we had in northern Michigan, and this is actually what led me to the QX, the Internet Offline.
Yeah.
We had an ice storm in northern Michigan that was like none other. We have not had one. I don't know that there's one in history like this one. Mm-hmm. We either, especially in northern Michigan, we get much colder weather, so it's snowy. We had the perfect mix of wet, but not quite freezing, so it didn't turn to snow, it turned to ice. And if you look up the Michigan ice storm of 2024, you will see or 2025, you will see an amazing amount of beauty and devastation all mixed into one, to the point where it took out power for a number of days and took out communications. We did not have cell phone. We did not have anything, which led me down to how did people get around? Because I happen to know the IT person who runs one of the larger hospitals in northern Michigan. Yeah, there's a couple of there's a couple of photos that are just like, you can see how many trees fall. It destroyed. Well, that's in your area. That's not. I say that's in your area, not mine.
That's my picture in my front yard with 3/4 of an inch of ice on every side of a pine needle.
Yeah. But it made me really think about offline because they had to do wellness checks on a lot of people.
Yeah.
The hospital had power with generators, but people go, how do I get there? And in northern Michigan, it's very rural. So there's, like I said, there's cell phone service is not great in northern Michigan because it's such a desolate place. But when the towers went out, there was none. And getting lost up there during an ice storm is potentially literally dangerous. And
Yeah.
so I kind of thought about the whole, how do you do things offline when a storm like that happens? How do you have all your maps ready on your phone? Because satellite still worked, but your ability to get new maps is down.
Yeah.
How do you get that? How do you have an offline map and all the tools involved in that? But circling back to something someone had said, this comes up a lot. Detroit has its well-earned reputation, which I love, because anyone who's watched the movie The Crow heard the word Devil's Night, and it was the first time a lot of them had heard that word. Devil's Night is a thing in Detroit. Yeah. It's not like it used to be, but we have a well-earned reputation for a lot of the crime. So Detroit is also an unusual city because of the number of square miles the word Detroit encompasses. It is not like a city where you think of like it's just the downtown area.
Right.
There's only 7.2 miles of downtown area. I'm trying to remember how many square miles Detroit is in total, but 7.2 is the downtown area that's really nice, where things like Cliff Bell's or the fancy restaurants I had, the Whitney is where the Ghost Bar is, and like that fancy restaurant. These are all high-end restaurants that are right in this little 7.2 square miles that's on the water. It's beautiful. You could go down there right now. What is it? In 12:30 at night here in Michigan, I would feel fine walking down there, other than it might be a little bit chilly today.
Totally.
There is still crime areas of Detroit, but they're the suburbs and the outside cities of it, and it's just different how that works. You know where not to go if you're here. The infamous movie that still holds up today. I rewatched it about a couple months ago. Me and my wife put 8 Mile back on, and we're like, holds up. Yep. And people are like, I remember my favorite thing was I was working when 8 Mile came out. I was working for a transportation company, and we had offices more than just Michigan, and our head office was Michigan. People are like, is it really look like that? We watched that movie 8 Mile, and they'd never been up there. What are you holding there? Oh, that's at first I know what it looks like you're holding for a moment. It's like you're holding a really little condom. But you're not. You're holding the top of that, and it hasn't come off, and that's disappointing. It's okay. I think there's enough of it sticking out that you're gonna make this work.
I can't get my fingers on it, but I've got a bottle opener upstairs. Oh wait, hold on.
You got teeth. Come on.
Yeah.
All right. We didn't have to resort to teeth.
I just can't close it again.
Well, there's only one solution now.
Right.
You have to finish it.
Tom, do you remember the ABV of Mjolk's Viking's blood?
You'll be finished if you finish it. That's what it is.
It's 19.
Yeah, it's not low. Cork failure.
So yeah, Detroit's kind of funny because you're like, yeah, 7.2 miles, like, ooh, Detroit. And Portland, 145 is what Portland proper covers. And that's just Portland proper. That's not...
Yeah. Detroit's 140.
Tigard, Hillsborough, Beaverton, Gresham, Clackamas,
and Detroit's 140 square miles. 140 square miles is Detroit. So
yeah. Bethany, Cedar Mill, Aloha, Troutdale, Tualatin.
So we got a donation from American Cosworth. Gotta throw this out there. You don't know Michigan until you're in the Upper Peninsula, Michigan, wondering why I'm here. Yeah, the Upper Peninsula. So people don't know this. If you're up in like the Keweenaw, which I think is like a 10 or 12 hour drive for me. Michigan is a big state. When you go to the UP and you go to like the Keweenaw, that is the snowiest place in the continental U.S. Sorry, Colorado, you don't win. It is incredible how much snow Lake Superior brings upon that area. So some of the northern Michigan, Porcupine Mountains and things like that are a different world altogether of Michigan. Most of Michigan is very, very empty until you get to the UP, and then it's extremely empty.
Yeah, then it's even worse, right?
There's like, we refer to them as the Yoopers, and they speak. My brother-in-law is a Yooper. He tries to hide his accent. I cannot imitate a Uber accent. It is a strange cross between Canadian and
North Dakotan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a strange. I cannot imitate it, and it's weird.
Yeah.
But he speaks with that accent. He likes his pasties, and just they're a thing. I pasties are good. If you come to Michigan and you go to the UP, you have a pasty. They're not bad.
Yeah, this is the Oregon population density. We all live either in Portland, which is right here, and that's
a couple other cities below it.
And that's Portland, Beaverton, Hillsboro, Gresham, etc. That's all right there. This is Salem. This is where I live, and then this is Eugene down here. Those are the three cities.
What's down towards the bottom?
Down towards the bottom, you have a place called Grants Pass and Medford. And I know it looks red right here. Let me tell you, Grants Pass has seen an explosion of population over the last decade and a half or so. It's a town of 80,000 people.
Okay. And
that shows up as red. See this big patch of green right here on the right-hand side, right in the center? That one county has 8,000 people.
Yeah. So you're the same like Michigan. Like there's these counties.
There are 4.5 million people in the state of Oregon, and 4 million of them live in this 5-mile wide stretch of I-5 between Eugene and Portland.
Yeah. We're 10 million in Detroit, and everyone lives in Detroit.
Right. No one lives outside of that 5-mile patch. And it's only a 90-mile stretch on I-5. It's Eugene to Portland. It's 90 miles. And that's it. You get this far outside, and that's it.
So I see someone said this, and they're wrong, by the way. They said we should give Michigan back to Wisconsin.
Ooh.
No. You got to remember, we won. Michigan won the UP.
There was a war.
With Ohio.
Right.
And they got Toledo, and we got the UP. And so, by the way, we got the good end of the stick because we found that there were iron ore up there, and
they got to keep Toledo.
And I can't tell you why. I can't tell you why you should go to Toledo. Tony Paco's, because you watch MASH. If you're old, if your hair's as gray as mine, and maybe you watched MASH, and maybe you heard of Tony Paco's. And by the way, Tony Paco's isn't as good as it used to be. And
I will say mine's filling in, but I am well familiar with MASH.
Yeah.
So
that's about it. There's not a reason I can compel you to go to Toledo.
Yeah.
By the way, if people who want to Google CNWR, you'll find that, aren't you located in downtown Toledo? Yes, and I can't find a reason to go there. It's Toledo's known as Glass City, home of Corning Glass, and home to the largest painted mural. There's the other claim to fame Toledo has.
Yeah.
And it's Toledo Mudhens. If you're a baseball fan, Toledo Mudhens are legend. So, there you go. There's your reason. If none of those compelled you, you go, no, those things compelled me. I'm like, then don't go to Toledo.
Yeah. I mean, look, you didn't have to convince me not to go to Ohio already.
Copper as well as iron. So copper and iron are both out of Michigan. So, copper's a massive amount of ore that they found in there. So.
Yeah. Cosworth sends over another $2. Astoria, Oregon is UP Michigan complete with pasties and hippies.
I don't know about the hippies, but definitely the pasties.
Definitely the pasties.
Yeah.
No, I think the hippies as well. Astoria is where they filmed the Goonies. If you're familiar with that Exennial movie.
Oh, yeah. Who's not?
Right, exactly. Yeah, that's in Astoria, Oregon, is where that's filmed. That's about 2.5 hours from me. I spend at least a week in Astoria every year. There or nearby. There's Seaside, there's Cannon Beach. There's a whole bunch of really cool coastal areas around there. I usually spend at least a week over there every single year. For years, the Goonies house was owned by people who hated everything about the Goonies. And it's kind of like buying the house from Breaking Bad. Like,
yeah,
you know what you're buying, right?
I hope so. You got a problem. You're buying a piece of movie history.
Like, oh, we just wanted it for the character of the house. No, you're buying a tourist attraction, whether you like it or not. And for years, there was so much vitriol between people who wanted to visit Astoria, Oregon and see the cove and the bay and things like, and the bridge going over to Washington and things like that we saw in the Goonies. And then they wanted to visit the Goonie house. Well, the Goonie house is up on the top of the cove right there, and you can see it from the highway. But people would drive to the front lawn and take pictures, and the people hated that and were actively antagonistic against anyone taking pictures of their house or anything like that. It's like, look, if you buy a house on Abe Lincoln's mole on Mount Rushmore, you're probably going to get pictures taken of your house. That's what you just did.
Yep.
And you knew that going in. The house has since been sold. It sold in like 2021 or something like that. And the new owners are fully bought in. They don't even live there. They've turned it into like a tourist attraction, and it's great.
That's awesome. So here's a fun story. Amityville Horror. What do you think of?
Amityville. Ooh.
And the house with the windows, right?
Yeah. Okay.
So turns out that is not the only house in that neighborhood with the windows. And my Matt, you know where he lives?
Yeah, he's in New York, right?
Amityville.
Oh, he's in Amityville.
So here comes story time. So that he grew up, that's where he's grown up. He's always lived there.
Okay.
Yeah, this is funny because this is one of my favorite Matt stories. Because
hold on.
You got to find the house, right?
No, I'm looking at the picture.
Oh yeah.
I'm looking at the picture.
Yeah.
Okay,
so,
continue.
This is where it gets.
I'm not going to dox Matt entirely.
Yeah. So Matt grew up when he was younger, not where he lives now. He still lives in Amityville, but he doesn't live there. Mm-hmm. He grew up a few houses down, and his house looked like that house because they had the same windows. Because all the houses were built with those windows, with pretty distinct. Well, because it was such a tourist attraction, people changed out the windows because they did not like the tourism. But tourists still showed up. They just had trouble identifying the house. So Matt's house looked like that house. So Matt seized opportunity for these Japanese tourists who did not speak good English. But for a fee, he allowed them to photograph the Amityville house.
I could totally see Matt doing this.
Yes. He gave them a wonderful tour. He's like, they went back, and those pictures are now somewhere in Japan. And, with their film cameras, because this was years ago when he was younger.
Right.
He goes, I gave them the best Amityville tour. They probably bragged for years about it, how they got to go in the house, how they got to take pictures of the people that live there now. It is amazing.
For those who don't know, I've talked to you, Tom, about this. I don't know if you've ever been in I know you've talked to Rhett. But talking to Matt, who is Tom's version of Rhett, and then me talking to Rhett, they're the same person.
Matt's very eccentric.
Matt's very eccentric, but not only that, physically, they look the same. They are the same person, from brothers from two different mothers, like probably the same mother who lived in New York and then moved to Oregon and then had another kid. Like, it's that close. I could totally see Rhett totally for all the German tourists that we get in St. Paul and whatnot. Because we have the German influx of like Oktoberfest and all of that kind of stuff in my area. I could totally see him taking people on a tour of his house and going like, yeah, no, this is where the original settlers went, and this is where the movie was filmed, and
yeah, just it's fun.
100%.
Yeah, just own the part. Just I'm giving these tourists a tour.
That's right. And they got their money's worth.
Yeah. I mean, they enjoyed it. There's no harm done.
Right.
They think they got photos of the Amityville house. This is long before you could fact check these things.
Yeah. Not a Professional chimes in for $5. Thank you, Cruiser. I know who you are. Finally gets here. OMG, this is great. A rare night I don't have to start agitating for a 3-hour show. Hell yeah. I mean, you can agitate if you want. It's only been... I mean, technically it's been 3.5 since the start of the show, but we started almost 30 minutes late, so, you know.
Oh, we went for a long time.
Yeah.
I didn't realize what time it was.
Yeah, we're coming up on 3. We're at 3:09.
Okay.
Sorry, 3:14.
I told my wife I was doing a live stream, so I wouldn't say goodnight to her tonight.
Right,
Like,
yeah.
I probably won't reply to messages.
Yeah, no, my family knows Wednesdays I'm in the show or I'm in the after party, which you can join by joining the Patreon. Link is down in the video description. Get access to the exclusive Discord server. Join all the hosts from Talking Heads in the awesome community that hangs out over on my Discord.
I have a feeling, but it's 12:30 now. Maybe within the next 30 minutes, Tom will probably fall asleep. Whether I'm on the stream or not, I don't know, but I'll probably fall asleep either way.
Right.
Right now, I'm still drinking whiskey and happy.
Right. Yeah. And that's typically what I'm doing in the after party as well. Is I've already talked for 2 hours. What do you guys want to talk about? Yeah, let's go on your meandering paths and see where they lead.
So
It's great times.
Are we going to talk about the AI bubble? Are we going to talk about how 4 companies make up 50% of the common GDP of the United States?
Yeah, let's just talk about how Nvidia, Amazon, Microsoft, and Oracle make up 46% of the US GDP.
Yep. The nominal GDP.
But don't worry, it's not a bubble. Not a bubble, you guys. It's totally cool. This is normal economic growth.
There's not exactly at all what happened in the 20s.
There's absolutely no chance that OpenAI says they're investing $100 billion into Nvidia, and Nvidia says they're investing $100 billion into Intel, and Intel says they're investing $100 billion into this, and then that says they're investing $100 billion into OpenAI. There's no chance all of that money is cyclical. There's no chance the money is being spent 7 times in the same transaction. Oh, wait. There's a whole thing posted by Bloomberg. Let me pull it up.
I liked my meme better. I'm just saying. We can show the fancy Bloomberg one, but mine made more sense.
Oh, wait. There's Nvidia at the center of this. It says 4.5. Just rest assured, it is 5 trillion now. Based on 130 billion of revenue in the entirety of 2025. 130 billion in revenue apparently gets you a $5 trillion valuation on Wall Street. OpenAI has a 500 billion valuation based on 12 billion in revenue, to which Nvidia says they're going to invest 100 billion into OpenAI, and OpenAI says they're going to invest 100 billion back into Nvidia. Neither of them have that capital. But let's take this a step further, shall we? OpenAI says they're going to deploy a 6 gigawatt AMD GPU server, and AMD gives OpenAI the option to buy up to 160 million shares of their company. Now, there's no valuation given to AMD. AMD is right around $800 billion. They're not even in the $1 trillion club. We've got Oracle sitting over here at 2.4 billion. We've got Intel at 1.8. We've got CodeWeave at $1 trillion valuation. We've got XAI, which is also at $1 trillion of valuation. We've got Microsoft up here saying 3.9 trillion of valuation. Where's our AI cut? Which also has investments into CoreWeave, Nebius, Nvidia, OpenAI, and a couple others. Do you see how every company has investments that kind of go like this? That they're saying, we'll absolutely spend $100 billion on this other company, which is also spending $100 million on this other company, which is also spending $100 billion on this other company. And you see how there's only 7 companies?
We refer to them as the Magnificent Seven in the finance world.
I love how Nscale is sitting here taking all the credit.
Yeah.
We're part of this too. Ha-ha!
Yeah.
Where's our $1 trillion valuation?
It is an insane circle. There's no...
Yeah.
There's no sanity in that. Should we share the meme? I think I have the other link in there too, which is the meme I had. It's the simplified version. There's something about that brought me joy.
Yeah, Oracle, 40 billion worth of Nvidia chip purchases for OpenAI data centers. 30 billion deal for, or 300 billion deal for data centers. Nvidia, 200 billion deal to buy Nvidia chips.
Infinite power plugged in.
Right.
No real value created here.
Yeah.
Before anyone says it's like the .com bubble. No, it's not.
It's 17 times larger.
And the unit economics make no sense at all. Every customer you add to AI costs more than the previous customer. Unit economics for the .com things where every customer we add, we have a critical mass and it costs us less to add customers over time. So we actually start adding value. The unit economics are upside down on AI. Every customer costs them more money than they're charging you.
Right.
That doesn't work.
Every Sora video you see that is posted online cost OpenAI $5 to manufacture. They are not getting $5 of investment or engagement on that post.
Nope.
There's no chance. They're getting 5 cents worth of engagement on that post if that post goes viral.
I don't even think they are because they're not even monetizing it.
They're not even monetizing.
Bandwidth.
It's going to other platforms to monetize via their ad delivery.
Right, because the Sora platform that came out doesn't monetize.
Right.
That's why everyone started coming out with these Sora watermark removers so they can move it over to platforms like TikTok, Facebook,
Shorts, YouTube,
Shorts, wherever they could
Facebook,
monetize
right.
it. It's insane.
Yeah. But it's not a bubble. It's not a bubble, you guys. It's totally not a bubble. Keep spending your money. Keep investing those dollars. Keep letting us buy 10 gigawatt data centers that we need to spin up literal nuclear reactors to support, of which we don't even have the manufacturing capacity for the nuclear reactor or the data center that would be put in place, notwithstanding that it would take 3 years to build a data center with that kind of capacity. But don't worry, those are going to be active by February.
If you want to read real economics on some of this, so several months ago, Goldman Sachs released a report, basically, juice ain't worth the squeeze for AI. Mm-hmm. More recently, Bain Capital also released a report. This is like within the last month, talking, their numbers are really simple. Mm-hmm. We'll sum it up like this before you want to read all the Bain Capital stuff. They need to make more money than the total cumulative money from this Magnificent Seven has ever made before by the next couple of years. They have to have, I think it was something like $3 trillion made in profits in order to recoup what they've spent. Like, it just doesn't add up. And by the way, these these companies like Bain Capital or Goldman Sachs are not good companies. They're not people I think of highly. Matter of fact, if they could find a market where kicking puppies made money, they would simply tell you that made money.
They would have monopolized that market a decade ago, and there would be a social media site called kickingpuppies.com.
Yes. These are people who only care about making money. So when they decide something doesn't make money, it's not because they don't want it to. They only care about the things that make them money. They are I do miss, and did you ever follow the Goldman Sachs Twitter?
Yes.
I love that parody account. That was my favorite account for years before it shut down. It was such a good account and it just played. It was like the Onion's version of what it's also worse than that because it was what probably people were saying, these investment bankers who are not good human beings in any measurable way that we can think of, and the awful things they would say. And that account was so funny. But back to the topic here, it definitely not a bubble. Definitely not. 7 companies propping up over 50% of the entire nominal GDP of the United States.
The GDP of the United States is $29.18 trillion. The investment to AI, or supposed investment, the supposed valuation of the companies involved in the AI bubble right now, is 57.5% of the US GDP.
Yeah, it is an insane number.
And I understand Microsoft, Nvidia, Intel, AMD, Oracle, hell, even X/Twitter/OpenAI, they have valuations that don't include their AI value.
Right.
Those companies are trillion-dollar companies at best. And I didn't even mention Apple, which is also overinflated because of the iPhone market. Apple's supposed to be a $4 trillion company with $220 billion in revenue per year, just in revenue. Not even in profit, but in revenue. So in 16 years of revenue, they might match their valuation on Wall Street. 16 years of their current revenue, they may match their valuation on Wall Street, and they're the best performer out of all of these companies. Nvidia has a $5 trillion valuation and a $130 billion revenue stream. Revenue. Not profit. Revenue. It's not a bubble. It's not a bubble.
Not a bubble. So, craziness. That's what all this is. Not a bubble. It's just some level of craziness.
Yeah.
But don't worry. Amazon made $35 billion in profit and decided they need to lay off 14,000 now, but 30,000.
Yeah, 14,000 in the immediate future. But yeah, 30,000 within a pretty quick turnaround.
And Zuck zapped out about 600 people. So,
yeah.
Oh yeah, the great write-up by Cory Doctorow on his Pluralistic blog. Just so many details. So here's a judgment I use when I'm looking for a good news source. Please note, as Cory Doctorow makes his statements, there's a link below for where he cites each one of these sources. So scroll down a little further, Jeff. You'll notice a series of things, how he came to the conclusions and the logic he used. Isn't that wild? I hate all these other news sites to simply tell me things without citing any how or what or site that they came up with any of these details or conclusions.
I love
Cory
this.
Doctorow, for every one of his things, has at least a dozen links in every one, if not more.
He has 4 sentences to one link.
Yeah.
To one cited source. That's incredible.
Yeah. It is a level of detail of how he came to the conclusion. This way, if he is wrong, or you believe he is wrong, or you disagree with his opinions, you can first look at the source he had for those opinions. And you can even message him. And by the way, I've talked to Cory Doctorow. He will message you back. and say, I
by the
disagree with
way,
your source on this.
Not only does he link his sources every 4 sentences of this article, he also has an addendum down below with additional sources that he pulled information from that didn't necessarily relate to the exact sentence he wrote, but still has forbearance on the article.
Yes. Yes. It is. His book, Enshittification, was great. I just finished it. Loved it. Highly recommend reading it. I have a list of books I recommend on my site. And by the way, specifically with Cory Doctorow's books, there's no affiliate link. So I recommend them because I like them, not because there's no affiliate, there's no anything. They're directly to his site, craphound.com. Long story how he got there. That's a whole different topic, but
how's this for a heated recommendation? Cory Doctorow is the person that Technology Connections wishes they could be.
Technology Connections is a different topic, though. He's not trying to be Cory Doctorow. Cory Doctorow's not trying to be him.
But he still tackles like the issues that are near and dear to his heart. And
it's fully following a passion.
Yes. And it's that same level of passion and enthusiasm that I appreciate out of Cory Doctorow.
Yeah. Because I've read a lot of his books. I've read his fiction ones too. So Little Brother, my kids enjoyed this as well when they were younger, and I really recommend reading the Little Brother series. It's great, it is really ideal. It's targeted more to young readers, but I will say it's good for others as well. Also his Martin Hench series, if you're into being technical and if you're pedantic and you care about technical details of a book, you will enjoy it because it covers technical details.
Yeah.
It's also a book. It's written in reverse chronological order.
Yeah.
So the first series in the Martin Hench books is the last book. And then he writes, it's the last on the journey of Martin Hench, of him like hitting retirement. So every book that came out, all the sequels are all previous younger versions of Martin Hench. Each one's younger. It's kind of a neat way to write book series. Not an absolutely new idea, but kind of a novel idea where you start at the ending of how Martin Hench got here, and he references things, and those reference things are back going to be his other books. It's just cool the way Cory wrote all that.
Yeah.
I do appreciate Technology Connections is on the list, and so is, I think his name is Ben Jordan. They're two YouTubers that have been able to figure something out in a way that I wish I could have, and just I think the niches we're in, like me and Jeff, because I think Jeff probably feels the same way as me on this. Technology Connections has been able to do 0 ads on his channel because he's been able to create a passionate Patreon following.
Yeah.
But he's also covering topics that are so broad, like less people are interested in XCP-NG and the servers that Jeff will be buying by the end of this thing. And, these are very niche topics that I don't think they can hit the critical mass.
Not as many people are interested in microcloud Xeon servers as there are in how does a dishwasher work?
He's the dishwasher guy. He's the
heat pump guy.
He's the heat pump guy. And he does an amazing job on there. But that broad audience.
What is the relationship between him and Aging Wheels? Are they cousins?
No, not at all. So because now here's what's weird.
Yeah, no, like I know there's like something there, but
yes,
what is that?
It is a strange coincidence. So I was watching Aging Wheels back when he had like a few thousand people.
Yo, so was I. Yeah, no, Aging Wheels is one of my oldest follows.
Yeah, I like Aging Wheels. And randomly, because Aging Wheels fixed one of the cars that he had. So Aging Wheels covered a car before, and the car he covered happened to be from Technology Connections. How they connected, I'm not exactly sure.
Okay, so they're not even related.
No, it was centered around he had an imported Japanese car.
It was one of the Nissan Miras?
Yeah, that weird car.
Yeah.
Aging Wheels was able to fix it for him when he had a problem because Aging Wheels had covered that car. So they didn't say this, but I can read between the lines, say that's how they connected is over that car. So Aging Wheels did a bunch of repairs and upgrades to that car that it needed because it was aging. And so he solved it. Aging Wheels did a video on that car. And then Aging Wheels made a guest appearance in the version in the video called Brown.
Yeah. Okay.
Because whenever he said Brown, he would do a swap with the Aging Wheels guys wearing his jacket to just said Brown. And then he would switch back to Alex.
Yeah.
So if anyone was wondering, this is weird YouTube trivia.
Which is really funny because you could have told me they were brothers and or cousins and I totally would have believed you.
Yeah, but they're not.
Okay.
Aging Wheels lives in, I forget where is it Alabama? It's one of the southern states. I forgot now.
Tennessee, I want to say.
No, it's further south.
Is it further south?
Yep. And Alex lives in, watch his road trip video. He talks about where he starts from, and that's the city he lives in. He's mentioned before his city a couple of times because he raises chickens and a few other things.
Yeah.
He lives in a farm area. Alex lives in Chicago or out the suburbs.
Yeah, suburbs Chicago. Yeah, right.
So, and Alex shows up at the VCF Midwest event. So I don't know if he does anymore. I think he gets mobbed there, but he has been there before.
Fun fact. One of my viewers and at this point long-term friends, Vince Circuit Rewind, has been working with the VCF guys. We're going to be starting up VCF NW again next year. So I will be at that. Vince will be at that. The founders of VCF will be at that. And we're hoping to draw some more attention to it. I think we already have a location, and I think it's in May. I need to verify all that information, but this all came about because I got pissed off that LGR went to VCF and MW, and I'm like, where the hell is VCF West Coast or Bay Area or Northwest? And they're like, well, we used to have one and we don't anymore. And so I called Vince and I said, hey, we used to have a VCF. Where's VCF? And he goes, oh, I know the guys. I should call them. And I said, yeah, you call them. And you get them to bring it back because I'll go. And now we have VCF NW.
Nice. So, weird car trivia that was in... So, if you haven't seen... Did you watch his latest videos on when he took apart the other Nissan, the Cube?
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Okay, you're caught up. Did you notice the VIN number?
Mm.
Oh, you missed a fun Easter egg.
Mm.
The last few digits of the VIN number, 42069. Now, this confused people, but I think you probably know enough about how VIN numbers work that you know how this works.
Mm-hmm.
People looked it up thinking he just spoofed the VIN number. No, the VIN matches the year and model. But the reason why is because when you do a VIN lookup, it doesn't look up the last couple digits.
Right.
It doesn't need to.
Right.
VIN numbers are similar to the way MAC addresses are handed out. You get the prefix, so
the first 6 is enough to give you everything you need. The last 4 are client specific, and the fuck if I care.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So I thought it was funny because there was a good Reddit thread about this. About holy crap, I thought he just faked the VIN number, but it actually matches. It does, but it doesn't. When you do VIN lookups for things.
Amazing.
But I thought it was funny because it's nuanced. He's showing a screenshot of an Android tablet that happens to have, because of the way it does the diagnostics, it shows the VIN number when he's doing the catalytic converter video. So he, of course, put the last digits not to be his own. Nuance.
That's funny. That's really funny.
Just perfect Alex Easter egg, never referenced in a video, but certainly referenced on Reddit quite a bit.
Yeah.
And in his comments.
What's funny is I like to do Easter eggs behind me that people may recognize. So I've got I've got Zoidberg and Leela and Fry up here. This bottle right here. So by the way, the shelves behind me were wine bottle shelves that were like a postmodern, like Art Deco kind of thing that they date back to like 2002 or something like that. John Hops and Brews got these shelves because they came with the bar that he bought. And then he didn't want them. And I went, I'll take them home. And so I took them home and I hung them above my couch. And then I started my YouTube channel. And then I moved to this new studio. And I went, I need something behind me. I could use some shelving or something. But these only hold wine bottles. Well, I put wooden shelves on them. But then I left 2 of the slots open for bottles because they'll also hold whiskey bottles. And so the shelves behind me are wine bottles, are wine shelves.
Nice.
But I will also hide Easter eggs back here of upcoming projects and videos, and I've done that since day one. If I get a product in, I've even put NDA products back here because they're so far in the background, no one will ever notice them. They're so far in the bokeh, like look, you can barely make out my hand back there. It doesn't matter if it's another 6 feet back. And so I'll put NDA products back there from time to time. This right here is a Lego mock of the Death Star trench battle of an X-Wing and a TIE fighter, and there's a crank on the back of it, and the X-Wing and the TIE fighter do this through the trench. And it's great. Yeah, look behind me for fun stuff like that. Huh, is that an SNES game? Says Circuit Rewind. Oh, this game right here? My Final Fantasy III cartridge? It might be.
It might be. That's great. Time to wind it down for me, I will admit.
Yes. Well,
but I will laugh at something that just, the connections that go in your brain. So I have a friend who always goes by, his name is Zoidberg. Because, big.
We all know one, and it's not the same one, but we all know one.
We all know a guy named that. We have a group chat, and he works for, I'm actually invested in a company, so it's part of why I'm in the group chat for it. But he's quite funny, quite caught the wonderfully dry sense of humor. And he sent, yes, oh God, he says a lot of funny things. I'm probably revealing too much because you look up Zoidberg and people I know, it's also his name on LinkedIn, which I think is wonderful. So,
Yakto's Discord image is Zoidberg.
Oh yeah.
Like we all know one, okay?
But so someone impersonated the actual owner of the company and sent him a phishing email saying, "Can you get me some Amazon gift card type things or whatever?" The usual scam BS.
Yeah.
He immediately replied because he couldn't resist. And it has said, "Hey, Alex," it says, "just like anytime there's a financial transaction, we need to go through the proper verification process. Please send me a picture of your butthole that I will cross-reference for the pictures of your butthole I have now. I await this picture so I can cross-reference." So he emailed the scammers back. He's got a thread going with him because he needs butt pictures. I was like, this is a great email thread of back and forth that they do not want to send the butthole pictures. What are you talking about? He sent me screenshots of this today. And I was like, oh, this is wonderful. He sent to his boss as well, who says, "I love you." It's great. Keep the scam going. Let me know if they ever send a picture of their butthole.
Right. We're sorry, we couldn't verify your butthole. Please send 6 more angles.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That is his current engagement with the scammers. I'm sure he'll have more engagement tomorrow for me and update me in the group chat.
As Zeus says, we do not have your colonic scan on file.
Yeah. He's a fun person to hang out with. His presentations, I have never laughed so hard at business presentations. He is he'll lead you up to this line of telling you something, and he says, then it'll be like this whole letdown of, "I don't know anything I just said. Those slides are lies." And he will go to the next slide.
None of this exists yet, but it'd be really nice, huh?
Yeah, it'd be really nice if this was a real. All right, next slide. He's full of personality and makes presentations really
I've given a couple of those talks before of like this is the way it should work. And they're like, "Yeah, no, that sounds amazing. Where can we buy it?" And I'm like, "Well, if you would make it, that would be fantastic."
Right. It doesn't work that way.
That's why we have the HL8, is I told 45 Drives, this product doesn't exist, and it really should, and people have tried, and they suck at it. Could you maybe do one better?
And I'm happy, because you know what? I have an HL8.
And now the HL8s exist, and they're amazing.
Because the HL4 was the first one, and it wasn't... Well, 4's not enough.
Yeah.
And I have 6 drives, so maybe 8's too many.
Right, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
I just didn't have... I should rebuild it with all 8, but I only had 6 drives at the time, but I'm happy, and it works. Because I swapped those drives out of my other servers. I put the 6 drives in out of a drive that only... as a server that only held 6.
Yeah.
But now that ZFS RAID expansion is a thing, I could expand it and not have to reload it.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm doing right now. I usually buy my drives in sets of 9, and so I will deploy 8 in a Z2, and then I will keep 1 as a cold spare. But I've reached the point where I have a couple of HL15s. I have a 45 drives AV15, and I have a 45 drives HL15. Those hold 15 drives, which is suspiciously 1 below 16, which I would need to deploy all 8 drives that I purchased to put into a Z2. It's a really frustrating situation to be in. So do I put 2 spares on the shelf? No, I paid for that capacity. I want to use that capacity. So yeah, in the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be deploying a new 24 drive server, which will have 3 banks of 8. Of like 3 different drive purchases that I've made over the years, that I'll have completely filled, and it'll be great.
But you can have unbalanced VDEVs, so you can put them all in one pool.
You absolutely could, yeah.
Unbalanced VDEVs work.
We mentioned this earlier, my TISM doesn't like that.
I know it doesn't. But I did a video on it of showing how well they work, because if you have a VDEV, let's just use a number that is double the size of the other.
Sure.
It will automatically figure that out. It will go, oh, so 2 rights go here, 1 right goes here. 2 rights go here, 1 right goes here. And it'll balance them. ZFS is magical.
I know it's magical. I know it works.
The TISM is off in your head. I agree with that part.
Yeah.
All mine are symmetrical, so I mean this is something I did for a video, not for production.
Look, it's bad enough that 3 times 8 equals 24, and my brain has to accept that there's an odd number in that transaction. I can get around that. I don't know if I can get around 8 terabyte drives meshing with a 20 terabyte drive array and saying just write 2 here and 1 there. No. You
can do 3 to 1. You can write 3 here. And
I could do 3 to 1.
Yeah.
No. My brain hurts. I don't need ZFS's brain to hurt. Even though ZFS's brain would be just fine because it's designed to do exactly that.
Look, Alan Jude wrote it, so it works. Like, he does some of the engineering here to make the magic happen.
That doesn't mean I have to like it.
Yes.
I like Alan Jude. I will drink with Alan Jude. I will never deploy Alan Jude's mismatched ZFS arrays. I'm sorry.
Well, on that note, it's time to wind it down. And you can do the after party. Because I'm going to do the after. I'll think of you while I'm dreaming.
Yes.
I'll think of all of you. You can tag me. Maybe I'll answer if I'm playing on my phone.
Yeah, he'll be up for the next 30 minutes. So if you tag him, he'll respond. But I will be in the after party, which is the live voice and video after party we host on the Discord following every episode of Talking Heads. The only way you can get access to that is by joining the Patreon. Yes, I do paywall my Discord via the Patreon. It keeps the trolls at bay. It's the moat that I keep around my castle, which means I no longer have to moderate my castle. It's great.
Yes.
Every creator I talk to says, why didn't I insist on Discord being a pay-in only? And look, we've got 950 members, and they are all amazing. We ban 3 users a year, and it's only because we have to talk about those 3 users for 3 months before we ban them. There's no problems. It's a wonderful community. It's a highly engaged community. Highly recommend you joining. Patreon.com/craftcomputing. Link is down in the description. And it gets me $1 a month. Best of both worlds.
Yep, absolutely. Join, have fun. You can pay to be a troll and be one of those 3.
You can be one of those 3. That's totally a thing that you can aspire to. In the meantime, if you like this video, hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe to Craft Computing if you haven't done so already. Subscribe to Lawrence Systems if you haven't done so already. Link is also down in the video description. You can find both of us on social media. I am at Craft Computing. He is at Lawrence Systems, more than likely, at most locations. Tom, anything good of the order before we close? Anything you want to promote? Or
no, I got nothing. I mean, if you want an FSCK shirt,
there you go. Yeah,
I have those on my store.
I may steal that for some coasters. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, feel free. It's a good idea.
Okay.
I mean, I didn't mail the
right. You didn't make FSCK, like, right?
No. I did choose. I had a meeting today with a church, and I had the shirt on, and I'm like, wait. And I went and grabbed another shirt before I jumped on the meeting. I was like, hold on. I don't want to have a bad impression with this people I'm meeting with today for a consulting call. Perhaps I will wear a different shirt.
Mm-hmm.
Then I put this one right back on. So, and anyone who works on YouTube, and I think you've mentioned this before, this is funny. You in your studio, you generally have a few shirts. Sometimes it's continuity because you do have to do a pickup or you have to do something where you don't want to have a different shirt.
Yeah.
When you're you're editing and realizing, oh crap, I need to put a segment in where I say this.
Yeah.
What shirt was I wearing then?
I've totally done that. I've also totally broken immersion. I have no problem with, hey, editing Jeff here, chiming in from my webcam. Screw you all. And here's something that I forgot to say.
Yeah.
I've also done a full continuity integration where I have inserted clips that I filmed like 3 days later that no one noticed.
Yeah, that's a lot. That happens more than anything else. The clips are non-linear when I'm editing because I'm like, oh shit. If you listen, my voice is different now because it's late and I've been talking all day versus in the morning when I usually record. Yeah. So if you're listening, you're like, his voice sounds a little different. Yeah, as I recorded when I was editing at like 2 o'clock or 8 p.m. or whatever versus when I recorded at like 9 a.m.
Right.
Fun times.
Yep, that happens so often. In fact, my video today, I finished editing a video. It'll probably be up sometime tomorrow. I had a couple of voiceover moments where I said the wrong number a couple of times. And so I went back and recorded the sentence again with a new number. But my voice is completely different because I filmed one with a pint of beer at 9 a.m. versus one with no pint of beer at 3 p.m.
But you can cheat now in DaVinci Resolve.
You can. There is a voiceover feature.
Oh, it's a neat feature.
Yeah.
You train it on your voice.
Yep.
And then you can have it rematch your voice to be the same as the one you trained it on.
Yep. Per video.
Yes.
Oh, it's so good.
It's a neat feature. It's cool.
Yep.
I don't have to go to 11 Labs anymore to do this.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know if I should spoil anyone, but I will say I do know of a creator who has never read their own ad reads. I'm not going to mention any names, but I'm just saying I know a creator who has used 11 Labs exclusively for 100% of their ad reads.
Because it works.
Because it doesn't matter.
Yep. We'll go with that.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to wind down.
Have a fantastic night, Tom. The rest of you also have a fantastic night. Join us every Wednesday night for the latest in beer and tech news right here on YouTube. Tom, when's the next time I'm on your vlog Thursdays? It's been a little while.
It has been. So I will message you. We will make that happen.
Yeah.
So what are you doing tomorrow?
I'm free tomorrow.
All right. I don't think I have anything going tomorrow, so I will message you in the morning because I haven't picked a time for my vlog. I pick my times differently, and so we'll work around whatever time you have available.
Yeah, he wakes up and goes, fuck it, let's go live.
Yeah, I do that, and sometimes I do it really early in the morning. Sometimes I do it in midday. Sometimes I do it in the evening.
You had one that went live for me at 6 a.m.
Yes.
Yeah.
that did happen.
That was like last week.
Yeah, I had to go somewhere that day. There was an event. Oh, that's how I ended up at the brewery, doing a tour, because I knew I had to go to that. Well, I wanted to go to that, and I knew it would happen in the evening. And because I knew it was happening in the evening, I was like, I don't know when I'm gonna get back from this, and I don't know what condition I'll be in. So, yeah. Well, there was next door to that, there was a motorcycle event. So I went to the motorcycle event next. So between the two events, I was like, I wasn't good for a blog actually. But other than picking my way from the airport tomorrow, it's sometime around 1 p.m. EST. It's in my calendar. That's my only task I have to do tomorrow. So I could do an evening one tomorrow, and if you're open to it, cool.
I'm totally open. Like noon on for me, I'm totally game. So 1 p.m. pickup for you is 10 in the morning. So when you get back, let's go live and
somewhere around 1 or 2.
Let's have some fun. Yeah.
And Vlog Thursdays is interesting because my wife every Thursday, she's really close with her family. Every Thursday she goes to her sister's. That's why there's no, like, I never have anything to do with her on Thursdays because that's her sister's day. So I'm open in the evening and I got nothing going on. So I will message you when we will make that happen, because I have not had enough guests on Vlog Thursday.
Yeah.
I should realize I just don't do that often enough, and I should. It's just I don't think about it because I'm so random with it.
Right.
And I've been doing it for solo for so many years that it's not like I'm not trying to invite people. I just don't think to do it. So.
Right. Well, cool. I'll be on Vlog Thursday tomorrow. I like it.
Yep, we'll do that.
Cool. Vince sends over a last minute super chat, $5. The stream is going as long as a baseball game in the 18th inning. I'm sorry your Mariners didn't make it. Vince is a Seattleite. I was rooting for the Mariners. We were in game 7. We had it through the 6th inning, and then they gave up a 3-run homer, and that was it. So, yeah. And now it's Canada versus Los Angeles. Who wanted to see that battle?
Canada plays baseball? I thought they played hockey.
Yeah, no, it's the Blue Jays.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's Toronto versus Los Angeles.
Oh, I forgot about them. I don't follow much baseball. So.
Yeah, I don't follow any baseball. So
I should, because my friend Brett, his son did play. He's now a recruiter. He was a pro baseball, and he's head of sales at CNWR. Me and Brett have been friends for long years, and but we call him Baseball Brett because he loves baseball. So.
Yep, I've got a couple friends like that. But anyway,
it's his jam. All right, man.
Thank you all so much for watching. As always, we will see you next week, or for some of you, tomorrow.
Yeah, join us tomorrow.
Cheers, everyone.